Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mumia Obsidian Ali. You know who I am. I need no introduction, right? And you're listening to the Grown Man Hour with my man Bernard Riley. Heard weekdays right here on YouTube. What do you think about that? How about that? Now let's get back on with the show. Thank you.
Back once again, ready to go. What's up? Salute to everybody. We doing it again. Yeah, I saw the title. If you saw the last show, you already got a feeling for what's going on here. You saw Obsidian in the title. You saw the thumbnail. This is Obsidian versus the Black Love industry. That he's been taking on that Black Love industry for a while now. I look at him. I view the Black Love industry as some big tower, some big building, and Obsidian's just down at the ground floor, just removing bricks from it. And eventually it's just going to all crumble down and be exposed for the bullshit that it is. But we're not just here just exposing bullshit. We do got good answers. Good answers to good questions, raising the right questions. And somewhere in the midst of this, Obsidian, who's been the villain in this game since he's thrown his hat in the ring as a dating coach. He's officially a part of this machine now, but he's the villain in the story. And that just makes this all the more interesting. And we got some good things laid out for you today. We got some real good things. It was some real good developments, some things that we unearthed, things that we found, that we dug up, because we watch a lot of this. I'm sure y'all would call it simp videos. We watch it so you won't have to. But we watched a lot of that shit, and we found some things that are just absolutely solid gold. We're going to be going over it and sharing it with you today. Going to be knocking shit off my desk. But yeah, we're going to be going over it, going to be getting into that. And also it's going to be a lot of peeling back of the orange, of the onion, so to speak. Well, you can peel an orange and an onion, but be that as it may, without further ado, I gotta shout out to the early bird squad, everybody who makes it in bright and early before the show officially even gets started. My man Brian Washington came in first, bright and early. My man Black Wolf Inc. hit me with a $10 super chat to get the day started. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Appreciate you leading the charge, getting it going on that. I appreciate it. He says, it's a good brothers reunion good brothers reunion on a glorious Sunday. Stay safe, my brothers. Check out Lil Brother That Ain't Love. Right on. Thank you very much for that super chat. My man, we got Black Sky Ranger says, get your popcorn ready. Yeah, you absolutely should. You absolutely should. Brian Washington, salute to you once again. He says, get your popcorn, soda, pizza, etc. Because if yesterday was any indication, this is going to be savagery. Oh, yeah. Mr. Bowtie in the building says, perfect way to start off the week. Coffee, French toast. Blasting BFF. Speaking of coffee and French toast, see, I didn't have no French toast. I had some keto pancakes. What the fuck is that? Well, that's what I just ate. Some damn keto pancakes. They somehow mix the batter and do something with it. I don't know. It's supposedly not a lot of carbs, or little to no carbs in it. So you can enjoy pancakes without the carbs. The syrup is, you don't need the sugar from the syrup. I'm sure there's some shit in there that your body don't need, but if you're cutting carbs, stuff like that are good substitutes. They ain't better than regular pancakes, but they're a decent substitute. Sort of like how turkey sausage is a good substitute for sausage. The keto pancakes are a decent substitute for pancakes. Now, turkey bacon, fuck no. Turkey bacon is no substitute for bacon. You can't replace. They haven't figured out a way to replace bacon. They haven't figured that one out yet. DJ Moss in the building. Got Titan TV in the building. Melody Sims. Good. Well, yeah, no, that's good afternoon. I almost said good morning. Good afternoon to you. We got NEU in the building. Scott Haywood in the building says, what's up, everybody? D-Rock Den, Stoic One, Jack Spade in the building. He said, "Love's gonna get ya." Boogie Down Productions. All right, I think that covers the early bird squad, and Black Wolf Inc. just came back through with another one. Black Wolf Inc. just came back through with another one. I had to double check. Yes, he does. That's yes, another one. Black Wolf Inc. says, "I am the Red Ranger of the Power Rangers Timeout Force." Time for the timeouts, ladies. Cut it out, man. Be cool. Don't Black Wolf Inc. Do not make me put a cape on today. All right. I had to do it yesterday, not yesterday, but Friday. I had to put on a cape of protection for the ladies. You timing them out for saying hi. Like, come on. Be cool. You send so many super chats, I'm not even gonna threaten to take your wrench. Your wrench ain't going nowhere. So I'm just pleading with your better conscience right now. All right. Be cool. I saw Complex come in there. Melody Sims just sent a super sticker. Thank you very much for that. Kenny Conjo in the building. All right, I think that covers it. And without further ado, oh, my man NEU just came through. He said, "No capes." That's a funny scene in The Incredibles where they said no capes because he wanted a cape on his superhero costume, and she wouldn't. When she designed the costume, she wouldn't put a cape on it. No capes. I gotta get the audio of that. Somebody caping. Gotta play that. No capes. All right, any of you, thank you for that super chat. And the Prophet of Thought is in the building. The Prophet of Thought series. If you're not subscribed to that, brother, you're definitely missing out, but I'm sure most of you already are. He says 5 for throwing down on Sunday. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right, and without further ado, now that I'm looking in the queue, I see the man of the hour, the one and only Mumia Obsidian Ali is officially in the building. Oh man, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, another day.
You ready to get this in?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The backstory of this is you sent me an email, and the video that you sent me through email was one that I had already saw, and I was about to send it to you because when I watched it, I was like, "Oh, damn! Did Obsidian see this one?" I was like, "Obsidian couldn't have possibly saw this one," because I knew you was going to want to go right on the air, which I think you did. You wanted to go right on after you found it because it was good. It was one of those videos that give you one of your vindication victory laps and all of that. So
oh yeah,
but yeah, we're gonna get into that. But
yeah. Well, we should let everybody know right now that today's theme is for me to gloat. Yes, this is for me to gloat. That proves that once again, your Lord and Savior, your Lord and Master, Mumia Obsidian Ali, was right yet again. That's the whole point of today's show. Just to rub the nose of the ladies in it yet again. That's right. Professional asshole himself, Mumia Obsidian Ali, right yet again. And I will be proving it in today's show. More proof, more evidence for everything that I've been saying about black female fuckery. I was right all along. How about that, ladies? How about that?
Oh man, this is gonna be funny. This is going to be funny. One thing that I brought up in the last show is I talked about the black love industry. Well, I said this at the beginning of this show. This is how I worded at the beginning of this show. I said that, I've looked at the black love industry as like a giant tower or giant building, so to speak. And Obsidian, since he's, de facto in his own way, has kind of, got involved in it. He's written a dating coach book that we probably would have, the tour, if it wasn't for the Rona, the tour would be going on and all of that. And
oh yeah,
and everything. But the Rona is, slow things down a little bit, probably for the better, because you're doing more writing, as you talked about before.
That's
But
right.
but be that as it may, you've written a book that's in that same genre, and with that, you're a part of it. So you're a part of this whole black love industry, whether people want to label you with that or not, whether you want to label yourself with it or not. You're definitely a part of this. But I
Oh, I'm
view
deep,
it.
deep in it. I'm way deep in it.
Yeah. No, I agree. So, but I view it as like a giant tower, a giant building, and you're just there walking around at the bottom, just removing stones from the building, about to make it about to make the tower. It's gonna come crumbling down if you just keep poking and prodding at it the way you're doing, with so many things that are not being said there, that are not being talked about, that are not being discussed, that are being overlooked, where they're just pandering to what women want to hear, and there's nobody really in that industry who's really looking at it in that sharp, precise way. Because let's just face it, most of the male dating coaches for men, they can argue that they do more, and they probably do, but the crux of what they're doing, the main part of what they're doing, is they're just trying to help guys get more pussy. If a loving relationship comes from it, then great. But really, they're just trying to get guys just to get their percentages up in terms of approaching women and closing the deal with women. That's essentially what male dating coaches for men are doing. Now, when
Yeah,
you look at,
and while we're on that point, I mean, let me just say this: I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I mean,
me either.
I don't see an inherent problem with helping guys, get laid more, get more notch count, more ass. That's fine. But I do talk a bit about get my echo box self improvement. I do talk about it to an extent, but I don't spend a whole lot of time on it because for a very simple reason. The Obsidians are already on point. We already got our act together. We're not the problem. And that's really my approach to the dating and mating thing, is that we're the guys that's not the problem. We're not causing the problems in black women's lives. They're not standing online for hours to get into these, events and seminars and book signings and all that because of non-select guys. No, they're not doing it because of that. Atara Dallas don't make, viral videos about non-select guys. Feminista Jones don't do, you okay, sis, because of non-select guys. So my approach is to basically fuck with black women, to let them know I'm not your problem. Black men like me ain't your problem. And if you were with black men like me, we wouldn't have all these problems over all these years. We're going to tell you what your real problem is, since all the guys, Steve Harvey and Hill Harper and Stephon Labossiere and Derek Jackson, they won't say in point blank period language what your problem is. But that's okay. No problem. The old man is here to help. I'm going to tell you exactly what your problem is. I'm going to tell you why you cannot solve it. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen after that. I'm going to tell you where you fucked up. I'm going to tell you what you've lost. I'm going to lay it all out in quantifiable, empirical numbers. I'm going to make it plain to you. And then we'll just ask, do you have a hospice care plan?
Oh, no.
So in a very real sense, you're right. I'm not really, I could talk about, and I do talk about dating and mating and whatnot, and I do talk about self-improvement to an extent. I do. But it's not really about that. This is about fucking with you, ladies. Be careful what you wish for, ladies. You just might get it.
Right on with that. I do got to cover a few things real quick. We got to touch on a few things real quick. Let's see, who was this? Now, right when I'm ready to touch on it, I can't. Mac38 sent a $10 cash app. I have no idea who Mac38 is. You can shout yourself out in the chat. You can shout yourself out. I don't know if you got a different YouTube name than your cash app name. I want to thank you for that. And also, Naima Buckner just put a huge happy birthday to Third Ward. I believe she's talking about Third Ward Colombian. this your birthday, third ward, I'd like to wish you the happiest birthday you could possibly have during this
Wow, yeah, me too.
coronavirus.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know what you're gonna do on your birthday with the Rona going wild, but hey, wish you the best, man. Wish you the best. Another year of life. That's a wonderful thing. And also, there was something else that I wanted to get into. Oh, while I'm at that, while I'm doing announcements and whatnot, let's make sure we getting the likes up. The likes have been historically terrible, but let's do better. Let's do better. I got over 100 people in here thus far. I expect many more to be filing in. I see I'm looking at it now, 122. So let's get these likes up. I know the people that make it in bright and early are people who actually like the show. If you wouldn't be here this early if you didn't like it, so hit the like button. Let's hit that like button. And it was something else that I wanted to announce. Oh yeah, there it is. There it is. My man SKC, Supreme King Coon, the community anthropologist, finally dropped a video, a long one actually. So check that one out when you get a chance. Don't leave here and go watch it. Don't leave here and go watch it because it's kind of long. But yeah, he did drop a new video. So check that out. Put it on your reminder, or if you ain't not subscribed to him, go ahead and subscribe to him. Bang the bell. Because he don't drop that much, but when he do drop, you do want to see it because he does. That video was good. It was good. It was a lot of coonery in there. A lot of fuckery being put on display, but also a really good video that did highlight and make a lot of really, really good points. So shout out to SKC for that one. I caught that one live. I didn't comment because I was busy and didn't even have my phone. I was actually cooking. So I wasn't commenting, but I was watching while cooking. And yeah, it was definitely good. Well produced. You know how SKC do. He puts together good work very consistently. So yeah, with that said, so speaking about that black love business, I talked about how the men, they just talking about getting ass, the good relationship comes out of it, great, but they're talking about getting ass, and we both agree, nothing wrong with that. Absolutely, positively, nothing wrong with that. When you flip it to the other side of it, you got the black male dating coaches that are dating coaches for women, and right. they're not saying anything of value. There's some good underlining messages. Like the best thing that I can gather from a Derek Jackson video is he is taking the time to tell women to not deal with that guy that ain't shit. I will give him that, but he's not hitting the mark on the nuts and bolts and details of why they are even dealing with that guy to begin with. He's not. That's where he's missing the mark. So
exactly, and that's not by accident.
No.
So that's the reason why my book. Let's roll it back before the Rona hit. My book wasn't even out yet, and it was a seismic shift, and there's a reason for it. And you just hit on it. See, I'm the X factor in all this. Me being Obsidian represents X number, of black men, just occupationally alone at present over 5 million. That is to say, blue collar brothers currently in the workforce, 5 million. That doesn't count early retirees like me. So just on the job at present, 5 million. And we're not talking about all the other metrics, shorter of stature and so forth and so forth. So, there's millions of me. So when I say me, I'm not talking about just me individually. I'm talking about what I represent. Think of me as a kind of avatar. And yeah, I'm the X factor. And that's the reason why just the word of me putting out a book was seismic. I mean, think about that for a minute. I mean, when's the last time you heard somebody was writing a book and it created all this big stir? When's the last time that, Harry Potter, some shit like that? Something like that. I mean, you really sit down and think about it. It's like, oh, snap, Obsidian's writing a book, He's writing a book about dating and relationship, really? So, and people think that this is something. Wait till they, just you wait, because I got some other stuff I'm working on as we speak. So, yeah, I mean, the reason why it was such a big deal is because I'm the X factor. I'm the guy that's never gotten a voice in these discussions. Because look, let's just get right to it. In today's show, so we are clear on this at 20 minutes past the hour. Today's show, ladies, is just to say I told you so. Is to let you know that the old man was right all along. The old man got it first. He said it first, and he was right. And to rub your nose in it. And we're going to have some very, very difficult conversations today. So I'm going to tell you right off the rip, if you're going to be offended or butthurt, you can lay it on down. We can get this right out the way, because a lot of what I'm going to say is going to be very difficult for you to hear, but you need to hear it. And it's time that someone said. And let's just be clear here: you don't pay good money to hear these brothers tell you what you don't want to hear.
Right.
Let's just let's be honest here. And see, that's the great thing about me. I don't need your money. I can literally afford to tell you the shit that you need to hear. You don't want to hear it, and you definitely don't want to hear it from me. But you can't stop the bum rush, ladies. There's nothing you can do to stop me. I'm going to tell you about yourself. I'm going to tell you the truth about yourself. And then I'm going to tell you what's going to happen next. I'm going to tell you what guys like me are going to do. I'm going to tell you how you're going to wind up. I'm going to lay it out for you in excruciating detail. And these guys, Mr. Stefan Labossiere, Mr. Derek Jackson, Mr. Alpha Male Strategies, Mr. Steve Harvey, Mr. Tariq Nasheed, Mr. Hill Harper, for that matter, Mr. Alan Roger Curry, the man with 3 names. They're all going to help me in my mission to tell you about yourself. And it's going to be all laid bare. You see, before we go any further, Bernie, and this is something I'm going to be working on in another upcoming book project I'll be working on this summer. See, another major difference between me and these other guys that I just named, see, they're not willing to say this. I'm talking to black women of a certain age. They're not going to say this. I'm going to say this. I'm talking to black women of a certain age. I'm talking to the black women 35 and over. And this is my message to you, ladies, because I know you're listening. We've tried all of this already. We've been there and we've done that. We've tried Steve Harvey. We've tried Hill Harper. For that matter, we tried Derek Jackson. We tried him so much that he's telling me he's got an extended sale on his book, right? And none of it has moved the needle, ladies. None of it has worked. You tried self-love ambassadors. You tried dating coaches. You tried life coaches. You tried Fix My Life Iyanla. You tried everything. The 90-day rule. You tried everything. None of it's worked. You've tried activism and whatnot. Hashtags. You tried putting out a call to action. You want certain brothers to step up to the front of the room. You tried everything. It didn't work. So now we're going to try it my way. Now we're going to do the Obsidian method. You tried everything else. It didn't work. Now we're going to try it my way. And so my first message to you ladies is, this ain't for everybody. If you're a young chippy listening to this, 19, 20, 21, 22, you got nothing to worry about. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to black women 35 and over. 35 to infinity. That's who I'm talking to. And see, my position here is, I'm not going to mince words with you. You're not a child. You're not a little girl. You're a grown-ass woman. You're an adult. You want to know one of the great things about being an older guy, Bernie? See, you're not there yet. You're in your 30s still yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't reached to the 50 plus like me. You want to know one of the great things about being my age?
What's that?
You get away with being a complete asshole.
Yep.
You can get away with it. And you want to know? I'm gonna tell you exactly how. Because you can say, man, I ain't got no time for this shit. I could be dead tomorrow.
Fuck around and fall over from a heart attack. I ain't got no time for this shit. I get right to it. 90-day rule, shit. I ain't got 90 days. I got to do this today. I might not be here 90 days from now. We got to get this done today. See, I'm not going to mess around with you ladies. Ladies 35 and over. We're not going to fuck around with this. We're not going to, mince words. We're not going to, get cutesy with it. No. We've been there, done that. Now it's time to have some brutally honest discussion now. Brutal. Okay? I'm not going to handle you with kid gloves. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you the truth. The brutal truth.
Osama Abdul, thank you for the super chat. He's saying, how did you and old man come about to collaborate? Just take a couple emails. That's all. A couple emails, talk a little business. Not going into too many details, but yeah, emails and speak the language of business. Put it like that. Darth Slothius says, thanks for the beard tips, Bernard. Connection complete. I assume what you mean by connection complete is that your beard wasn't connecting. You had a lot of them Anthony Hamilton patches in there. Yeah, I give beard tips. You got to find the right product, the right stuff to mix it in there, brush it in. Don't be picking and combing at it. If you're combing and you're picking your beard and you're finding too much hair in the comb, that's where those Anthony Hamilton patches come from. Just brush it, preferably with a soft brush. Keep it moist as much as possible. Don't let it be dry and getting tangled up, and then that's how hair come out. Yeah, it's a lot of little tips to getting the beard game right. There's a lot of little tips to it. It's odd because the hair on your face don't grow like the hair on your head. So it's a completely different ball game when you're trying to get that beard to grow if it ain't growing right. But yeah, gotta put a little tender love and care on it. But anyway, enough.
Yeah, speaking of beards, I'm with this Rona piece, I've been growing out mine, and
okay.
I even got my own beard kit. That's a Lever men's beard kit, and they got the beard oil and the beard.
Yep.
Beard oil, and I got this beard balm and little brush and combs and stuff. So I'm working it. See what I can do with it. But so yeah, we today's show is going to be very, very good because ladies, I told you so. And once again, and all this is going to be in the book of Obsidian.
Well, hold on. Do you want to preview what you told them so about, or do you just want to roll the tape?
Well, what you're about to hear today, ladies and gentlemen, is a vindication by, black women approved black men. These are not, black men in the black manosphere. These aren't black incels. These aren't MGTOWs. These aren't SYSBM. These are black women approved black men saying what I've been saying for the longest time now. You may recall last summer, I wrote an article called All the Crazy Ladies. It appeared on the Negro Manosphere website. It will be included as a chapter in the book of Obsidian. And that article was about what I refer to as dinner whoring. And I got a lot of flack for that article.
Yeah.
I got a lot of flack from the sisters about that.
Mm-hmm.
And the main argument was, well, Obsidian, you're quoting these studies from these white institutions, and nobody did a study about black women. It's unfair of you to say this about black women. That was the argument.
Right.
What you're about to hear today, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I need to remind you, I cannot say it enough. 2 black women approved black men who have hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of black women followers and consumers of their goods, products, and services, saying the exact same thing I've said a year ago. They said it a year later. The old man, once again, triumphant. Roll that beautiful bean footage of Mr. Fon Labasi. Look at him. Doesn't he look so handsome? Doesn't he look so handsome? Don't you agree?
I'm not commenting on the hand. You know,
I mean, hey, look,
you gotta be careful with
I got no problem with my sexuality, you know, because a lot of brothers feel sensitive about this.
No.
I got no problem with my sexuality. I have no problem looking at a guy and say, hey, good looking guy, nice suit, nice accessories there, nice pocket square.
Yeah,
his grooming is magnificent. Look at the beard. No, I mean, look at that beard.
Yeah, my beard game ain't that strong. Mine is not. I've been trying. I can't get.
I mean, ladies. I mean, because it is about the messenger, right? I mean, we're not going to mess around with this, ladies. It is about the messenger. You don't want to hear from me. Okay, that's fair. Let Mr. Stefan Labossiere tell you.
All right, before Labossiere passed to Cavassier, tell it all. We're going to go to we're going to look at Mr. in the building. Just sent a super chat. I appreciate that. He said, "Have you walked your woman today?" Jim Rat 5 says, "Obsidian is our Cyrus. Can you dig it?" And also, I saw somebody else come through. We gotta shout out. I saw somebody. I must have missed somebody. If I missed you, nope, no, I didn't. My man Black Wolf Inc. came back through with another one. Says, where white women at with the echo box. That's hilarious. But yeah, we about to roll that footage. And once again, hit the like button, hit the links. You see the Cash App and everything being posted.
Oh yeah, the money got to be flowing today, fellas. You're gonna definitely want to grab your checkbooks and your debit cards, your credit cards today, because this is going to be one for the history books. Definitely.
Yeah, let's see. Let me try to pull it up. I think I got it right. I hope I clicked on everything correctly so I don't botch this thing. But yeah, we about to roll the footage. And here we go.
If you're dating a man, all right, and y'all been communicating, and then he stops calling you, but in that time, you don't call him either, do you say he ghosted you? You both ghosted each other, all right. But the reality is that I've seen situations like this, and women will say, well, he ghosted me.
And fair use, by the way. I need to get the whole layout.
Fair use. We like Stefan.
Yeah,
I like him. I like Stefan. He's a good guy.
Yeah,
but he does help everything that I've been saying all along. And so once again, see, that's the thing about me, man. See, I don't use my own energy to make the case. I use everybody else's energy. You talk about a keto guy, man. I use other people's energy to help me fuck them up.
Right. All right. Let's get back to it.
So there's going to be a process where it takes time, and we have to go through different people before we find or receive that person who is our match, who is the person that we should share life with. That is what's going to take time. But guess what? There's nothing wrong with that. It only becomes a problem because we waste too much time in the interim with the people who don't belong in our lives. And so now by the time we even get to that right person, we ain't got the energy for it. So we got to learn to sift through people much quicker so that we don't develop what I call dating fatigue. And we get tired of the process because we're holding on too long. We got to move them out the way super fast. Get them in, get them out. That's it. All right. Stop wasting all this damn time. Please. Okay. You got to fix that. All right. So now there was one more that I want to speak on. Oh, ghosting. That's what I want to speak on. All right. So ghosting. Ghosting is an unfortunate thing that happens. Everybody here familiar with what ghosting is? All right, I heard a couple no's. So ghosting is essentially when you're dating someone and they just disappear. You don't hear from them no more, they're just gone, all right? Now, let me say this. I love y'all, and to the women, I really, really love y'all. But what I have found is that women, okay, let me ask y'all this. Let me ask y'all this, all right? If you're dating a man, all right, and y'all been communicating, and then he stops calling you, but in that time, you don't call him either, do you say he ghosted you? You both ghosted each other, all right. But the reality is that I've seen situations like this, and women will say, well, he ghosted me. You ghosted him too. You didn't call him, he didn't call you. So neither of y'all are guilt-free from this situation, all right? Also, what I have noticed, this is what I was going to say, women have a tendency The reason why you may not ghost is because y'all have no problem keeping men around who you're not really interested in as your friends. You will have these men lingering around using, let's be real, You will use these men as your emotional whores, all right, as free dates, free meals, whatever you want. So you ain't ghosting because you stockpiling all them brothers, all right, keeping them on the shelf, all right. Whereas men, yes, they're more likely to be like, okay, if I'm not going to do anything here, if I'm not going to get what I want, I'm just out. We don't keep women around like that. We just keep it moving and that's it. I am not saying one is right, one is wrong. I'm saying we all doing some nonsense, all right? So let's be honest about how we're behaving in that way. But let me also say this. Ghosting is very popular because the reality is that people fear having to face you and hand rejection to you. We don't like rejection, and we typically don't like giving rejection. It's very hard for someone to say, okay, I know I don't want to deal with this person no more. Let me call them up just to tell them I don't want to deal with you anymore. Like, that's a very awkward, uncomfortable thing. Again, I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying this is why it happens. All right?
All right. So let's get right to it. Okay. Now, I was chomping at the bit to jump in, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted you to hear in its entirety what Stefan had to say. So let's get to the first part. You know the reason why black women complain about ghosting? Because the niggas that they want to stick around left their ass. A lot of black women honestly believe that they can use their pussy as a bargaining chip. Newsflash, ladies, when it comes to relationships, your pussy is worthless. Let me say that one more again. When it comes to relationships, you know, getting proposed to, getting married, a man claiming you as his woman, your pussy is worthless. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just get this right off the rip. Your pussy is great for sex. It's great for that. And if that's what you want to do, I mean, great. It's worthless for relationships. It has no use. It has no value in relationships.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one.
Yep.
Number two, the real reason why you have a problem with, because see, black women want the right. They want to reserve the right to ghost any man that they're not really interested in. Under the guise that, you know, you can't really be honest with them because they'll catch an attitude, they'll get mad, they'll curse you out. Bitch, please. You just want to retain the right to be a bitch. You want to retain the right to be a jerk. You want to retain the right to be antisocial. You do. You do. You do. It's that simple. You want to have the right to sift through guys and not have to be a decent human being and tell a brother that treated you with nothing but kindness, listen, this isn't working out. You know, I'm not really interested in you and like that because you're too much of a chicken shit. That's the truth. And now, because the dudes that you want to suck and fuck, but you want to try to flip them into a dad, remember? You try to flip a cat into a dad. And after he get what he need from you, he moving on. Now you mad. Because in your mind, supposedly, he owe you something because y'all fucking suck. No, he don't owe you anything. It was a fair exchange. Your pussy for his dick. And his dick is verified because other women want to hop on it. You know that. So you got what you want, which was some good dick, and he got what he want, which is some good pussy, and that's that. The end. He don't owe you nothing else other than that. So stop with the bullshit about this ghosting nonsense. It's fuckery. That's what it is. And to the brother in the chat room, Fast Attack, who says, why does our good brother Steph always preface everything he says? Because he can't say what I'm saying. His job is on the line. That's why. His job is to make black women feel good. My job is to make you feel real. Grow the fuck up. Grow up. I'm talking to the sisters 35 and over. Grow the fuck up.
Before we get more of your take on this, we gotta acknowledge the one and only. I am hearing an echo. Somebody said something about that. I don't know where an echo is coming from. But anyway, Alan Roger Curry is in the building. He says, just a self-serving FYI, I discussed what is now referred to as dinner whores or free meal whores in my Mode 1 speak. I refer to those women as manipulative time wasters years ago. In the possibility of sex, hashtag Mode 1. Thanks, ARC, for that super chat. And I do think that's correct. I think you have been talking about that for a while. One distinction, I hate that I got an echo, but one distinction that's going on, not really a distinction, it's just last year, I don't know if you remember if you was paying attention to Obsidian, how he was down in the trenches, how they were giving him 1000% pushback on everything that he was saying. And now one of their talking puppets, so to speak, is now saying the same thing, and they're letting out the nervous, the laugh of truth that you talked about. ARC talked about how when he'd get up there and he'd say some shit about women, that's the truth, and they start laughing and giggling, and because they know that they just been, they just had the curtain removed. The emperor had an emperor has no clothes moment, and so that's what Stefan Lavoisier, Pastor Cavassier, just gave them.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's a very important point. So let's put these two together. So you got Alan Roger Curry a few years back. Stefan Lavoisier, 2020. The old man comes through a year ago and says, and it comes with studies. Massive pushback. Now, I see what's going on here. See, the ladies don't want to hear from me. See, I don't do what I do by happenstance. Everything is deliberate. The word choice is deliberate. The tone is deliberate. It's designed to piss you the fuck off, ladies. You should be pissed off. You should be ashamed of yourself. Look at yourself. Do a lot of you broads even look at yourself? Seriously? Do you even listen to yourself? The words that I use and how I use them, how I say them, how I write them, are designed to piss you the fuck off, because you should be pissed off. If I was fucking up as much as you, I'd be pissed off too. And I know you don't like what I'm saying. I know you don't. I know you don't like it. But there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing. There's not a goddamn thing you can do about it. But just take this work. I'm going to use the guys that you drew over to buttress and support my point. And then take it a step further. Hey, so let's review before we go any further. Just to review. Number one, you can cut the bullshit out with the ghosting. It's a self-serving, antisocial ploy. You self-serving bitches. Number one. That's number one. Number two. Now we're going to get into the confirmation of dinner whoring. You heard what Stefan said. You heard the ladies in the background laughing. You think they was all white women? No, they were black. Ask me how I know. How do you know, Obsidian? Because I was there. I was there at one of these events. And the vast majority of women sitting there were black. Big heifers that they are. Laughing and giggling and smiling and joking. So cut the bullshit about we can't say that about black women. If that was true, how come black women ain't laughing? How come black women laughing? If that's not true, why are they laughing? Black women, some of the biggest dinner whores out here. Because if there's one thing that black women love to do, actually it's two, is eat and drink. It's sitting all over their big ass body. Okay? So, with this one piece of evidence that we entered into the record with Mr. Stefan, we can, shut down this idea that Obsidian is not fair. You saying this about black women? Oh, yes, it is. Because one of your own just confirmed it. Oh, and for Georgia boy, why you talk about their looks, but they don't find you attractive either? I'm not their problem. Whether they do or don't find me attractive is not the issue. Follow the bouncing ball, Georgia boy. The problem with black women is that they can't flip the cads like you into a dad like me. And they'll never do it. That's the problem.
What's your thoughts on people like Stefan Lavoisier, Pastor Cavassier, when he said emotional whores? Now, in the black manosphere space, or the manosphere in general, the term emotional tampon, they'll use you as your emotional tampon. He switched it to emotional whores, but I get from that, and I'm sure you probably get the same thing, that he's listening. He's listening in on these conversations, and he knows some truth is being told, and he picks and chooses which pieces of that truth he's gonna, breadcrumb to his ladies, which he just did right here in this video. But
yeah,
him switching those words around, emotional whores versus emotional tampons and all of that. Yeah, he's listening, just switching words around at that point.
But I mean, he has to do that because he has to tell black was it's fantasy. See, I'm here to pour. I'm the ice bucket challenge on all this. I truly am here to knock over the table. And Georgia boy, anybody can be a father, but how many people can be a dad? You don't have to take my word for it. Ask the ladies. They'll tell you. Anybody can be a father, but how many people can be a dad? I understand that this is personal for you, Georgia boy. I get it. A lot of brothers will have a problem with what I'm saying because now we're getting down to the white meat. Now we're getting down to the white meat. This ain't all black men. It's not. See, if you're a non-select brother, then it also means by definition you ain't the problem. You can't be both. You can't be non-select and the problem too. No. Black women aren't spending $100 billion on brothers that ain't the fucking problem. Atara Dallas didn't spend time in that car doing a viral video talking about non-select brothers. She had a passing word for him. But the majority of her 2 videos now that she's done going viral were about the brothers that she loves to suck and fuck but can't act right. So now we're getting down to the white meat. Now we get into it. Let's try this again, ladies. You will never, you know what? Let me get my echo box. You will never get those fine ass niggas to act right. You will never do it. Never. It'll never happen. Not in this lifetime, not in the next. You're throwing good money after bad, trying to figure out, the fucking Rosetta Stone of this shit. It'll never happen. Grow up. Grow up. In life, there are trade-offs. You don't get everything you want. And who the fuck you think you are to think that you can? You don't get everything you want. You have to decide what's important. And ladies, for those of you who are 35 and older, you've already made your choice. You've seen the Matrix. You saw the Oracle. You've already made your choice. Now you have to understand your choice. I'm here to help. I'm here to help. You made your choice. I'm here to help you understand what that choice means and its implications moving forward.
What are those implications moving forward? Let's get into that.
We can get right into it right now.
Yeah.
I'm talking to the ladies 35 and older, 40, 45, 50, 55. The Lisa Rays, the Vivica A. Foxes, of Black America, if you will. Game already locked. Many of you are going to die alone. Let's just get right to it. I mean, this is the time of a global pandemic, man. I've already read up my life insurance policy. You want to know why? Just in case. I've already read it up. Matter of fact, this week coming, I'll be talking with my healthcare providers. Just making sure that everything is everything. I don't want to go ahead and leave out of here on some humbug shit and leave the people I claim to love to pass around a goddamn hat on GoFundMe to put me in the fucking ground.
Mm.
And how many times have we seen that, Bernie, in Black America? And who's leading the charge?
Oh,
Who
yeah.
are they?
Mm.
Who are they? It's Black women.
That's right. That's right. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. That is.
We passed all of this, sister. You know, listen, to the ladies out there 35 and over, to the ladies out there that ain't already got a good man on lock, this is a done deal for you. You spending money you ain't even got on these guys. Your priorities are so fucked up. It's not even real. It's unreal just how so fucked up your priorities are. You don't have your final expenses taken care of. You ain't got your health care on point, but you spending money that you ain't got listening to a dreamboat dude tell you some bullshit. That's shit that you know is bullshit.
Sister George came through with a super chat. Thank you very much for that. She says, shout out to Pastor Obsidian and Deacon Riley with the good Sunday word. And also, I think I saw in their community tab or in their, I don't know, maybe in the caption of the video that they're doing later on today that they just hit 1,000 subs. They celebrating 1,000 subs. I thought y'all already was over 1,000 subs, but be that as it may, either way, congratulations on hitting 1,000. Gotta congratulate you on that, even though I don't agree with a word that comes out of your mouth. I think you're full of shit, but congratulations on your success. I'm just playing with you. I'm just playing, not really, but thank you for the super chat and congratulations. Absolutely, definitely a good thing. Content creators, you know, I'm a new one myself. Came up and channel grew really fast, hit 1,000 and hit the ground running and still rolling, snowball rolling downhill. And also with that, Coach Ali's Corner says, and thank you. And I did get your email. I don't know if you saw my response to your email, but I got your email. I will be getting back to you on that, Coach Ali. Definitely be getting back to you on that.
I just like to respond to what Leo Keene says.
Oh yeah. Well, hold on, real quick. Well, go ahead and respond.
He says many men will die single too, old man. Very astute.
Yeah, that's
very astute. So anyway, as we were saying,
I don't know why that's a counter to what you're saying.
Because the truth hurts. Deal with what I just said. In Black America, you don't have to take my word for it. I mean, there are associations that deal with this. Black insurance associations and the actuaries and adjusters. Black Black funeral parlor directors. Look it up. The majority of Black people don't even have their shit together in terms of final expenses. Somebody die, all this drama over who gonna pay for it, who shot John, this, that, all kind of shit come tumbling out of the closet. Shit's fucking embarrassing. Go up on GoFundMe. Who the main ones up there talking about, I need somebody to bury my aunt, somebody to bury my son, somebody to bury my mama.
Titan TV says, Bernard, don't congratulate hyenas. Hey, hyenas got to eat too. Now they can't just starve to death out in the wilderness. They got to eat. I can congratulate her for that. Okay, here's something back on subject though. Well, not really, but Jedi Max sent a Cash App, and he says there is. Oh shit! Now my phone want to turn off. Okay, he says there is no such thing as non-select. That's what Jedi Mac just threw out.
I'm not interested in getting to that. Yeah. This ain't the day to go into that. So, as I was saying, so I mean, ladies, for the ladies 35 and over, and you can't tell me shit because I've studied this. I've been to these events. I studied this thing for years. There ain't nothing you could tell me. We've moved past all of that now. We're past that. Do you have a hospice care plan? You've chosen a big, juicy, cock, a fine-ass nigga. He can't do shit for you in terms of that. You have to provide that for yourself. If you don't know it by now you know. And guys like me are not going to pay for it in terms of our taxes either. I'm a black Republican. I'm going to link up with other Republicans, black and white. And what we're going to do is we're just going to say, no, we don't want to pay for your private decisions. You chose to get with that man. That's your right. So that means you pay for your own protection. You pay for your own housing. You pay for your own health care. And you pay for your final expenses. You pay for it. The niggas that you like to suck and fuck ain't going to pay for that. So guess what? You pay for it. Because I'd be goddamn if I'm paying for any of you bras. I only pay for women I'm fucking. I don't know how many times I need to tell you dumb bras this. I only pay for women I'm fucking. That's it. What part of that don't you get? You didn't choose to get with a man willing to pay your bills. That's cool. That means you got to pay your own bills. And you will.
And that speaks to the stupidity of that question that somebody, or the statement that somebody made when he said that men die alone too. You know, see how you just mentioned that a woman not having a man working to pay her bills, you have to pay her own bills. That's a problem for a woman growing old, having to worry about her own bills. That is normal for a man to grow old, worrying about his own bills and his own expenses and his own everything as he's growing old and dying. That's normal for us. That's what we look to do. That's what we're expected to do. We're not considered a man isn't considered a failure if he works until he dies, and that's that. A woman is 67 years old still having to work somewhere. That's a ultimate failure. So it's a different ball game between men and women. And before I read the super chat by Rowdy Bennett, Ty City says, just got back from church. What I miss? Ty City, get your ass up out of church, because you only there just checking out those women, them saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost women, and you just in there trying to see how much they ass jiggle in the dress when they doing a praise dance. Get out of there so they can find them a saved, sanctified man of God. You ain't up to no good in that church trying to get you some saved, holy, sanctified pussy. Cut it out. Get out of there. Get out of there, Ty City.
Let me respond real quick to Temper Supreme. He says, oh man, are you trying to help black women or shame them? Neither. I'm not here to help black women for whom I'm talking to. And I don't need to shame them. If what they've done up to this point ain't enough for shame on its own, what little bit I can do ain't gonna help. I'm here to tell black women about themselves. I'm here to tell them this is where we are and this is how things are going to play out from here. Do you have a hospice care plan? We're past all this trying to help and trying to heal. We're past that. You know, I'm not a doctor, but I've known people in my life who work in the medical field. There's a point at which you, as a medical person, as a nurse, as a doctor, you've done all you can do, man. You know, the patient is either going to sink or swim on their own at this point. We're past all of this stuff. This is the post Steve Harvey, Hill Harper, Derek Jackson era. Sis, you're like 30 something, 40 something, 50 something. We passed all of that. This is where you are now. We need to talk about things from this point forward. Do you have a hospice care plan? What's the plan for the rest of your life? See, the Stefan Labossiers and Derek Jacksons and Steve Harveys, these other life coaches, Iyanla and them, they ain't going to tell you about that, but I will. See, I'm at the age now, and many of you ladies are at the age now where motherfuckers start dropping dead in Black America, and that was before the Rona. Motherfuckers start, having heart attacks and strokes and stuff. You didn't think about any of that, and that's okay. Now this is where you are, and I'm not going to pay for you. I'm not. If I can work 22 years nonstop on the job and then turn around and start another career where I can work 12, 14, 16, 18 hours a day, what do you think I'll do in order to prevent my tax money to paying for you fucking ungrateful heifers?
Rowdy Bennett says, men love peace and deal well in solitude. Says, at Obsidian, did you listen to Bald Eagle and Irene Yvette last video? He also says, Obsidian, did you listen? I think he's, yeah, did you listen to Miss Sandberg latest complaint?
No, no to all of the above. I did hear about the former. I'm just now hearing about the latter. I have to look into that.
And he says, Bernard Fountain, replay to your last video. I think he's saying Aaron G. Fountain must have replayed or put part of my video on Pookie Maggles and Daggles or something like that. I don't know exactly what's going on there. I don't know nothing about that. Aaron Fountain has been commenting in my comment section, and you know, I've been letting it rock. I responded to something that he said in there. The last thing he posted, I didn't even respond to it. I mean, I just look at it here. He's a fan. He's, you know, he's here. He's listening. No big deal.
So, yeah.
Let me get a few more super chats that's coming through. We got this. So he says, Bernard Riley, you're wrong. Let them. So he's talking about when I say if hyenas got to eat too. Let them starve. No feeding hyenas. If you're not willing to get your own food, you don't want to eat. Hyenas do get their own food. I was debating that in the chat. Some people were saying hyenas don't hunt. They actually do.
They do.
They are. They I wouldn't even call them scavengers, because if anything, they'll steal a kill, and stealing a kill is not exactly being a scavenger.
Yeah, but, they're not apex hunters, no. But I mean, but they are hunters. Yeah.
Yeah. Nick Penn, salute and shout out to you. Says, get the Echo Box Obsidian, laughing my ass off. And that was one more. Let's see where we at. No, I think that was it. If I missed you, I apologize. But anyway, be that as it may, Obsidian, you were about to say something before I started reading the super chats. Go ahead.
No, I was just simply saying, man, that yeah, this idea that, you know, you have to help black women. No, I don't. So that's the great thing about being a guy like me. I don't have to help black women do a goddamn thing. I don't have to help them do shit. For that matter, I don't have to help young black men. My position is this, man. I'm not here to be some kind of saint. I'm not here to be your daddy. I'm not here to be your preceptor. I'm here to tell you about yourself and what's going to happen from here. We are past all of that. Past all of that. We've been there, done that. It didn't work. It didn't work. So now this is what's going to happen. This is how it goes from here. We're past all that other stuff. Some of y'all broads are too old for this shit. You know, doing the flaky thing, doing the ghosting, that's a young woman's game. You 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Yeah, you can afford to be flaky. If you're halfway decent looking and you young and tight and hot, yeah, you can afford to be a flake. You can afford to be ghosting people. Doing that shit at 45. Well, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You're too old.
Thank you for the super chat. He says, it is appointed to man once to die, and then the judgment, saith the bitch Bernard. Thank you very much for the super chat. Sick lid. Thank you very much for the super chat. Obsidian, you had sent me another video. One of them looked like it was from O'Shea. And you said,
yeah, before we get to that, because we're still on this theme of dinner whores.
Oh yeah, let's
get now. This video is 30 minutes long. We're not going to do the whole 30 minutes. We'll just do maybe first 5 minutes or something like that. But before we get to that, Tampa Supreme says, so the black family is done then, brother. It's a graveyard. It's over. It's over. This is a recovery operation. This ain't rescue. It's done. I know a lot of black folks don't like looking at the numbers, but the numbers are what the numbers are. The black marital rate is below 30% and falling. The out of wedlock birth rate nearing 80%. Black people are the least people to cohabit. All these talk about people, black folks cohabiting, wrong. It's done. It's done. And black women have really fucked themselves over, because what they've done, they put themselves in the worst possible position imaginable. But we're going to get to that in a minute. We'll get to that in a minute.
Right. So it sounds like the next one we're going to go with is not the one, because he sent me something from O'Shea, but then there was a video that really highlighted the whole dinner whore phenomenon.
Oh yes, this
So
is
that's
our, this is going to be the coup de grace, ladies. You had Stefan Labossiere, Pastor Cavassier, confirm everything I've been saying over the past 5 years about black female fuckery. Now we're going to bring another black woman approved black man onto the dais, and he's going to deliver the coup de grace. He's going to deliver the gift of mercy to you, ladies.
All right, so I got this one queued up. I did not watch this one, so this is all fresh for me. I did not get to watch this one, but I'm pulling it up right now. Oh, and I see it's boy, you got Boyce Watkins. Okay, all right, this is going to be interesting. So, all right, you ready to roll the footage?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right, let me get this super chat off the screen.
Now again, we're only going to do about 5-6 minutes. We don't need to play the whole thing.
Yeah, you can just tell me when to cut it. Just tell me when to cut it.
We'll do.
All right.
The ones who late, not family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money.
You can hear it, right?
Yes, I hear it just fine.
Okay.
In the power, never be fake. Stick to co-sign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Please, none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV.
You guys are doing well. I'm gonna give you guys time to come into the chat. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. And I wanted to ask you guys about something. I saw this interesting story about food and dating. And apparently there's a survey that basically says that there are a lot of women who, who will go on a date with you because you can feed them. I didn't know that there were so many hungry women out here, but I shared the survey on my Instagram. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. So if you want to have real conversations, go to The Real Boyce Watkins on Instagram. And so I was curious to see what people were thinking. And so, so I'm going to read this to you guys. Now, give me a yes or no. I assume you're familiar. How many of you feel like you've either been involved with or perhaps been the victim of a booty call? How many of you, give me a yes or no in the chat, would say that you've been involved with a booty call, either as the perpetrator or as the so-called victim, whatever you want to call it. Well, I love you too, Roy.
I'm glad he said so-called victim. I was about to say, well, how do you become a victim of a booty call? What the heck? Okay, anyway, play ball.
Well, Clementine, thank you very much. Okay, Sheila says no. All right. Okay, I see some yeses in here. All right. So we got some honest people in the building. If you say no, I'm gonna think you're lying. I'm gonna think you're lying because sex is natural. That's what people do. It happens. Anyway, so I was reading through and I was scrolling through Instagram, and like I said, my Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. That's where a lot of the conversation has been happening. And I found this story on CBS Local, and instead of the term booty call, apparently there's another term called foodie call. So not booty, but foodie, and not tutti frutti, like tutti frutti, look at that booty, or whatever Little Richard was singing. All right, this is like a foodie. I guess you call it a foodie booty call. Maybe they. I'm sure they probably mix the two together. But anyway, so the foodie call is when you apparently go on a date with somebody just so you can get fed because you want to get some food. So here's what they said in this article. They said, as if the familiar term booty call wasn't cringeworthy enough, a new expression has been coined to describe a person who chooses to go on a date with the sole purpose of getting a free meal. Say hello to the foodie call. Quote, I don't know if I could ever say I used the guy for that, but there are perks to the dating life, one woman said. A study performed by researchers at Azusa Pacific University and UC Merced found that 23 to 33% of women had engaged in a foodie call. Quote, I think it's common because sometimes if you have nothing to do and you are invited on a date, then why not? When I was dating, one woman said, I remember it was almost expected and the norm for the man to pay for the bill. Okay, that's an interesting question. I got some questions I want to ask y'all. I want you to give me a yes or no answer to this. Hit the thumbs up button, by the way. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please hit the thumbs up button. And feel free to follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. That's where we have good conversations. So Yes. No. How many of you feel that the man is expected to pay for the bill when you go on a date? Yes or no? How many of you feel that it's okay for the man to pay, or expected, not okay, but expected that the man's going to foot the bill, or like, or would you be offended if the man said, I was hoping we go Dutch, I would like for you to pay? How many of you expect the man to pay? Okay, I'm seeing a lot of yeses. I'm trying to see if I'm out of touch. I'm officially off the market, and I do pay for the food. I ain't even dating the girl no more, and I pay for the food. If we were single, I'd pay for extra food just to try to impress her. Okay, I see some no's in here. That's interesting. Okay, I expect men to pay. He should. Okay, all right. That's the first question I had. Second question. This is for the ladies. How many of you have ever thought of or actually gone on a date because you were hungry, because he was feeding the homeless or like doing charity? How many of you have ever gone on a date because you were looking to get the food and that was it? Like the guy didn't have a shot, but you were like, girl, I'm hungry, and we doing Red Lobster with the cheddar biscuits. How many of you have ever gone on a date because you needed food? Okay, so here's what's going to happen. Every woman that answers, I predict almost every woman that answers is going to say no, because that's like me asking, like, how many of you have ever like acted like a hoe? Right? You're not going to admit it. Nobody's going to admit that. Come on, right? And then the only people that would say yes are going to not say anything. They're just going to sit quiet in the chat. That's my prediction. That's just me maybe I'm being a skeptic. Y'all know me. I'm a conspiracy theorist asshole sometimes. If I think there's a conspiracy, then I become a conspiracy theorist. But I'm not a conspiracy theorist all the time. Just when I think I think there's a conspiracy. These are biased answers. This is in statistics, we refer to this as self-attribution bias. So I don't believe. So just so you know, I don't believe you. I'm sorry. I just don't. Okay, so fellas, let me ask you this question. How many of you would be offended? Give me a yes or no if you'd be offended if you went out with a girl and found out later you really didn't have a chance and she just wanted to get some free food out of the deal. How many of you would be offended if you went out, you took a girl out and you were hoping for the best or hoping for whatever to occur? I don't know what it is, short term, long term, and you found out later on that she's went out because she was hungry and didn't have much money in the bank account and was looking for some free food. Would you be offended? Okay, Xmas Holiday says hell yes. PhD Music says yes. RD Speak says yes. Ashton says yes. Jay says I would be offended. Definitely be offended. Definitely. Okay, yeah. Okay, so this is interesting. This is all interesting. Here's what I think, right? If you want my opinion, I'm gonna give you Uncle Boyce's opinion. I hope I'm allowed to do that. First thing is, I think men are supposed to pay. I just really think that's an important part of establishing your masculinity. You have to do something masculine to establish your masculinity. One masculine thing you can do, is you provide and protect, open doors, and pay, right? So that's the first thing, right? I just think the man should pay. So if you are a man and you want to go on a date, don't even think about not paying. Like, pay anyway. Even if if she fights you too hard and like really, really gets offended that you want to pay, just know that you're dealing with someone who really has an interesting perspective on gender and gender roles. I tend to believe in gender roles, but you don't have to. It's okay. You got relationships where the woman's carrying a big old 8-9 inch penis and the man's got a nice soft vagina, and it works. Those relationships work. It's okay. It's okay. But just know what you're dealing with, right? Because that's actually, so I think that, but here's the thing though, it's a real subtle balance. I believe that if she offers to pay, maybe on the second, third, or fourth date later on down the line, or if she wants to help out, that's a good thing, right? So I think pushing to pay too early is a bad sign to a man, but offering to help later on down the line is a good sign to show that you're a partner. You're not just going to be
all right. That's enough,
right? That's just my 2 cents. That's what I believe. Like, so for example.
Okay, so I don't have any problem with Dr. Boyce Watkins is entitled to his opinion just like anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with his opinion. His opinion is not relevant. And while I'm on this point, let me speak to, because I saw Mr. Alan Roger Curry, the man with 3 names, saying that he wants to join the discussion later on. I'm not here to, I would rather not. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. Because let's assume for the sake of argument that what Alan Roger Curry wants to clarify is correct. Let's just grant him that. It's not about that. This ain't about whether you like Boyce Watkins. This ain't about whether we want to clarify something Alan Roger Curry said. This ain't about, whether or not a guy select or non-select. No. This is about telling black women about their choices and where they go from here. That's what this is about. We've been all through all of this already. Now we have to move forward. You made your choice, ladies. Now you have to understand it. I'm here to help. So, with that being said, Dr. Boyce Watkins, black woman approved, black man, saying the exact same source that I cited a year ago. The exact same one. No pushback whatsoever. So can we all agree now that what I said last year was true? Can we agree that dinner whores do exist in Black America? That's my first question. If Stefan Labossiere confirms that there are dinner whores in Black America, and if Dr. Boyce Watkins says that there are dinner whores, and he's talking to a largely black female audience, then that means that what the old man said last year was true. So can we now move on, ladies? We need to get to the consequences of your decisions. See, it's fascinating to me that in Black America, we never want to talk about outcomes. We want to talk about, what had happened. You got to look at the root causes. We want to, make little clarifications, see how many angels can dance on the head of the pin. I want outcomes. These are the outcomes of your decisions now. This is what happens now. No, you don't get a chance to do a mulligan. There are certain things in life you don't get a second chance at. If you don't understand that, you got a much bigger problem than what dating coach to get. There's just some things in life you can't do over. We're past all of that. Past all of that. This is where we are now. You've made your choice. Now you have to understand the full implications of your choice. Many of you are going to die alone. Atara Dallas knows it, and many of you do too. She's 40 years old, just turned 40 a few months ago. She knows that she's going to leave out of here alone. More than likely not insured. More than likely she'll leave out of here a burden on her 2 sons and those that she claims to love. A burden on the state, a burden on the taxpayer. Just a leech and a parasite unto the last breath with their selfish asses. This is where we are. See, nobody wants to talk about this part of mating. See, in Black America, we're all focused on short-term mating. I play the long game. I play the long game. And if we've learned anything out of this whole exercise, ladies, is that Black women suck when it comes to fucking and sucking for strategic advantage. Let me say that one more again. If there's one lesson to be learned about this whole exercise over the past few years, is that Black women as a group, I'm not saying every last Black woman, but you get what I'm saying. As a group, Black women suck when it comes to fucking and sucking for strategic advantage.
Mm.
There's a TV show. I love this show called Game of Thrones. You ever heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
I love Game of Thrones. You want to know the reason why I love Game of Thrones?
Why is that?
Because it's all about mating. Who is getting with who? What strategic alliances will be made between the noble houses? That's why. It was brought to my attention that my bringing this up might not go over very well with a black audience because there ain't many black people in Game of Thrones, and that's true. If you read George R.R. Martin's books, and if you definitely look at the show, there's not many black people in the Game of Thrones show. That's true. But I would like to respond with this. Maybe there's a reason why there's not many black people in the Game of Thrones. If we study real world history, there really isn't an African analog to King Henry. Why is that?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Maybe it's because the way we like to do things, meaning black people, meaning Africa, is vastly different from the way white folks, read Europeans, do things. And maybe, you got to sit down now. Maybe that African way just doesn't work. Maybe. For all of their problems, and white folks got problems, no question about it. But maybe generally speaking, I'm not saying every last black African, I'm not saying that. Generally, maybe that system maybe it doesn't work to this day. In present day Africa, even with white colonialization, maybe just the African way of doing things just didn't work too very well. Maybe it worked out for some individual people, individual families and clans, but overall, no.
You mentioned the long game. You said that black women are bad when it comes to using, I think you said sex, a sexual strategic.
Black women suck at sucking and fucking for strategic advantage. Okay. Black women suck at sucking and fucking for strategic advantage. Black China, anyone?
Explain for those that don't know. Explain what sucking and fucking for strategic advantage is. How
words? Black China. That was a classic Game of Thrones move right there.
Right.
I mean, she all but married into one of the most well-known, well-regarded, wealthy, influential families in America, the Kardashians.
Yeah, so you're saying if she could have just shut her mouth and acted right,
exactly,
she would have been a de facto Kardashian.
Exactly.
It would have a matter of time. She would have been at somewhere on some red carpet taking a picture with the rest of the Kardashians. If she would have known how to act right, would have been just, yeah, okay. Would have essentially became part of the Kardashian clan, but could not do it. Yep. And that's an avatar for the broader problem, I'm sure you would say, with women, who may not have access to, a rich man, but on the ground, they can tell the difference between a jobless guy with no character versus a guy with a job that has character, or two guys with a job. One has character, one doesn't. One is offering commitment, the other one is not. You're saying they can't get a base hit, let alone knocking it out the park. They can't get a base hit when it comes to picking men at the ground level like that. Even if you're just, because I like to look at the average. I know people like Kevin Samuels, who he deals with the top 5 percenters. If I understand what he's doing properly, he talks about the top 5 percenter black men and the women that, or top 5 percenter men and the women that want to compete for those men. He's talking about that kind of stuff. But when you just look at it on the ground, just with the regular average common Joes, they can't get it right on that either. Because I can sympathize with a woman who's trying to get a top 5 percenter man and she's failing at it. That's a hard job. But when it comes to just the regular Joe getting one that's willing to commit to you, you should be able to do that. You should be able to have a healthy understanding of what guy you can get commitment from. What type of guy, what is this man offering you? And it's they tend to fail miserably and give de facto Atara Dallas speeches. And since I mentioned Kevin Samuels, if you haven't been watching his last few streams, man, Kevin Samuels have been knocking it out the park. That one about blue collar brothers, or blue collar men in general. Kevin's been knocking it out the park. Been doing a really good job. Just give him a salute and shout out there.
Game of Thrones is a very interesting show because there is a lot of bastardy in the show. There's a lot of horrors in the show. And I mean, I think we need to be honest about this. We don't really have an honest horror culture in Black America. That would be something of a misnomer. But we definitely have it's hard for me to typify, to put the right word on it. I may come up with it. But what's clear is generally, Black women, as a general observation, as a general proposition, don't really, for whatever reason, don't really suck and fuck for strategic advantage. Now that leads us into our next video. That was the O'Shea Duke Jackson video that you earlier. And I'm going to explain, let me set this up, because what I mean by that, I want you to think about the Game of Thrones show as we watch this next video with O'Shea Duke Jackson. Again, we're not going to watch the whole thing, only a couple minutes. And just to set everything up, many of you might have heard about this. There was a Black woman on Twitter, I understand, who made a declaration over Twitter saying words to this effect that if you're not prepared to pay for my babysitter, pay for food for my children, then you don't want to go on a date with me. So with no further ado, Bernie, if you got that roll,
yep, almost got it ready.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and look at that, and then we'll come back and I'll offer my commentary and I'll tie everything together what we've been talking about today up, and then I guess we can go from there. But yeah, this is very important. Very, very important. And by the way, I'm not really interested in talking about what Black men need to do, what Black men should be doing. This ain't about that. This is about Black women. This is about Black women, particularly over 35.
Rowdy Bennett, thank you for another super chat. He says they are listening and learning from the Black manosphere. The Derek Jackson has his limit. Black women know where to go to get the ugly truth or their fantasies. Thank you very much for that super chat. And without further ado, let me make sure I got everything squared away. All right. All right, this is a video from O'Shea Duke Jackson. Obsidian already set it up, so I'm just going to let it roll. You can let me know when you want to stop it.
It's not going to be long.
Yep.
Buddy, it's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. And man, I keep getting a lot of emails, and the emails that I'm getting are guys who are sending me Twitters or screenshots from Facebook, and usually I can't get to all of them because we produce a lot of content here on this channel. But I want to shout out to one brother, man, that sent me this screenshot that you're seeing on the screen. And again, this is about chicks who are heavily entitled, right? And pretty much this is a single mom who's talking about there are certain stipulations that you must do if you ask her out on the date. And I'll read both posts she put on the Twitter handle. Dating music! If we're going on a date and you don't offer to pay for babysitting plus a to-go box for my child, we are not going. And then she says again, why should my baby daddy or I have to come out of our own pocket when you're the one asking me out? The whole day should already be planned out, including all extra fees. And I hope we had the dating music on that.
That's enough.
All right.
So like I said, man, give her a round of applause.
So
heard enough already.
Saw that. Everybody saw it. You see this? You see the screen? Just hold that screen there.
Mm-hmm.
So we have what appears to be a relatively attractive sister saying, if you were going to do, you want to go on a date with me, he's signaling I'm a package deal, and you have to ante up for services for my child if you want to go out with me. Now, I don't have a problem with that, because she is right. If you're a single mom, they are a package deal. That's true. The problem I have with what she said is this. She assumes that because she's attractive, guys who have something to offer, like me, are going to take her up on that offer. To which I simply respond, are you fucking kidding me? Let's count the ways, shall we? See, the worst thing that black women could have done is put themselves in a position where sex is the only thing they bring to the table. Because let's just, again, this is for 35 and older women. We're not going to mess around with this. You think your trump card is what you got between your legs, is the circumference of your ass, as Uncle David Carroll would say. Okay, fair enough. Did you know, Bernard, that in the United States porn industry, the average career of a woman is 3 years or less?
Yes, I did know that. I know quite a bit about. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I knew that. I've read that.
Oh, by the way, because it's the popular thing of the moment. The same thing holds true for the OnlyFans, cam girl types, strippers.
Oh yeah. I would imagine that would be more short-lived, because a lot of porn stars nowadays are trying to get a second, not a second career, but just now that the MILF porn is such a thing, they can get a little older and stay in the game a little longer. But the OnlyFans, I don't know if they got that effect. I don't know what's going on with the OnlyFans.
Same thing. But and as a matter of fact, if we want to get really granular with it and focus on the black sector, black women don't do very well in that line of work. A
lot of them come and go. They come and go. Yeah.
What am I getting at here? Again, black women, I said it before, let me say it again. Black women suck at sucking and fucking for strategic advantage. See, this is the thing that cracks me up about the idea of tricking and all the rest of it. I laugh at these women. I really do. See, now you're talking my language. Like a brother asked you earlier, how do you and I get together and do this? And your response was, well, we talk the language of business. See, if you want to talk about a straight up business, as what my man Mr. RJ once said, flat foot tricking, okay, we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So why should I pay for you, Miss Juicy K, and your baby daddy and your baby and all the rest of it, when I can get the same thing or better? From what I can see, I can get better with a sister that ain't got all that. Why? I mean, what else do you offer? I mean, the answer is pretty obvious. Nothing. And you offer a whole bunch of liabilities for a guy like me. Simply put, I can get the same thing or better, and more than likely cheaper. Because I know a lot of sisters don't want to hear this, but black women are cheap. That is to say, getting a black woman is very cheap. Getting a white woman and an Asian woman, that can sex you back. There have been studies done on this. There have been studies done that show what each type of man would have to make in order to get a white woman, an Asian woman, Hispanic woman, a black woman. Black women are the cheapest. Okay? The worst thing black women could have done is set themselves up as sex pots. And the reason why is very simple. Because how many big booty broads on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube? How many? One reason why the average career of a chick in porn is 3 years or less is because there's a constant stream of such chicks.
Yeah.
When all you have to offer is your ass, there's always a better piece of ass. And for the male sexual mind, studies have been done on this. Your ass is just as good as the next one's, ladies. So again, I ask, If we're gonna just do a straight up flat foot tricking deal, okay. Why should I pay that when I can get what you're talking about without all the extra? Why? What else do you offer me? Do you offer me real world contacts to help me in my business? Do you offer a comely attitude where people like you, where I could take you around important people and they really like you and that induces them to do business with me? What do you bring to the table other than your ass? Or as Alan rightly pointed out, the possibility of tapping that ass. What do you bring that I can't get already, sans all the other bullshit that you bring? Because this is baggage. This is something a lot of sisters don't want to hear because a lot of sisters are baby mamas. I'm sorry, ladies. This is baggage. And you're not bringing anything to offset the baggage.
I'm just trying to figure out at what point will a lot of these women, for example, her name, we can see it right there, is Juicy K. It seems like after you become a mother, your Juicy K days are over. You can't be Juicy K and a mother at the same time. That's just the part of that just trips me up. That it blows my mind on that. That's sort of, I mean, it's on subject but off the subject. But I don't want to spend too much time on that. But damn.
Yeah, I mean, and one brother made a point in the chat room. My man Tyrone, he said thousands of big booty women turn legal every day for them to compete. Exactly. When you reduced what you bring to the table is the circumference of your ass, then that means how are you going to win that competition? How? When you got new ones rolling off the assembly line all the time, how do you win?
Yeah.
And let's look. I mean, we're businessmen. We both work in an industrial setting, so we know all about economy of scale, right?
Mm-hmm.
The more you make of something, what happens to the price?
Yeah, it goes down.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. So, I mean, to me, this is the reason why when guys try to, call themselves going to insult brothers like me, bring your checkbook, I laugh. I don't need a checkbook, man. I could just roll off a couple bills off the money clip. That's easy. It's like falling off a log. Black women are in no position to demand any prices here. And again, let's try this again. Every online dating study ever done, black women at or near the bottom of all American women. Every last one. OkCupid, Match, Stanford. Every last Tinder. Every last one. At or near the bottom. They've done studies to find out which race of men, how much they would need to make in order to get with a woman of another race. Black women, the cheapest. The most expensive, Asian women. Okay? Average porn career, 3 years. We can use that and apply it to OnlyFans and strippers and all the rest of it. And they was really talking about white women. I'll give you another one, Super Freakonomics. They've studied this. Alan will like this one, Super Freakonomics. In the book Super Freakonomics, they talked about how the price of pussy has fallen due to the free love era in American life. In other words, the sexual revolution of the 60s and 70s, the pussy price via prostitution fell through the floor.
Mm.
Okay?
You said Super Freakonomics?
Yes.
That's a book?
Super Freakonomics. It is a book.
Wow. Never heard of that. Never heard of that. You threw me off when you said Super Freakonomics. I had no idea what that was.
Super Freakonomics.
Okay. I want you to hold your thought because we got to take a break in the action. 379 people watching, only 146 likes. Now, I've been complaining about the likes, been getting little to no results. I saw Kevin Samuels just do this a couple days ago where he basically stops the show, plays some music until he see the likes get where he wants, takes a collection, you see some super chats and some likes, and then he starts back. Now I'm still new to this, and a part of me feel like I don't want to go there. you know, but it's like, damn, come on. Okay, they just hopped up to 170. So some people did just hit the like button. But yeah, I you know, part of me feel like, hey, I'm still new to the game. I can't just be stopping the show. You know, the audience might dip out and leave. I know Obsidian would say, hey, that's good. Let the ones that can't even be bothered to hit the like button, let them leave. The ones who can't be bothered to hit the super chat, let them leave. I know your philosophy on that, but my philosophy is still, you know, it's all love. I'm happy to have an audience, happy to have you out here, but let's do something with the likes. I don't want to have to be stopping the show, you know, because I'll never be as hardcore as Obsidian. I've seen him pull the plug. What was the phrase? If I don't get what I need, I cut the feed. Something like that. I'll probably
That's
never
right.
be that.
That's right.
I'll never be that hardcore with it. But yeah, but thank you. Y'all the likes just skyrocketed to 200. Thank you. And somebody hit the thumbs down. Thank you too. Thank you as well.
And
So,
see, yeah, what black women haven't taken into account is the male, in this case, black male sexual mind or sexual psychology. See, once you just reduce it to purely a sexual thing, what separates you from all the other women? In our minds, you're the same. Why do you think the porn business is? If that wasn't true, the porn business wouldn't be bringing in women all the time. And we could say the same for OnlyFans. I mean, the women that's doing the OnlyFans thing right now, many of them won't be here next year, and definitely not 5 years from now. Once you have reduced yourself to a sexual piece, it all bets are off. There's really nothing else that you have to offer. And black women have a fucked up, positioning in the market. They can't command high price as a group. They can't. And we can go into the reasons why and all that. I'm just looking at outcomes. For whatever reason, black women can't command high price. This broad is desperate. She is signaling that she's desperate. And only the worst type of brothers will take her up on that deal. Only the worst kind. Talk about jumping out of the frying pan and into the fire.
And I suspect that she got a babysitter. She just trying to get a little extra money on the front end. That's before the real transaction takes place. She just
like I said before, black women suck at sucking and fucking for strategic advantage. They suck at it.
Yeah.
They do. That's the reason why Game of Thrones is so important. That's the reason why it's so important. And black women suck at it. They do. And then on top of that, what a lot of black women figure they do is get the state to kind of step in and do all the things that their man should be doing because they don't want to have to compromise. They don't want to have a man listening, telling them what to do. How's that worked out for them? Trump is president. He will be reelected. There's a very good chance Mike Pence will succeed him. Black men today support the Republican Party double what it was 4 years ago. How's that worked out for black women? Their standard bearer is a guy who's senile. Hispanics do not consider their agenda to be the same as black women's agenda.
That's an interesting point.
Beg your pardon?
No, I was just saying that's an interesting point that you said Hispanics don't consider their agenda to be the same as black women's agenda. So
no, they don't.
Yeah, that's interesting. So they're gonna be leaving. A lot of them going to be leaving the Democratic Party too. So yeah.
So black women have played themselves all out of position here, politically, socially, economically, sexually, romantically. They painted themselves into a corner. Which leads me to say this. I'm going to go ahead and say, because these other guys, they're never going to say it, but I'll say it. We got a lot of dumb broads in black America, man. It's just the plain truth. I laugh at this idea of tricking because I could go along with that if you were sucking and fucking for some real strategic advantage. I said, okay, I can see that. Use what you got to get what you want. To move yourself into position to get something for, strategic advantage. Okay, all right, fair enough. What black woman does that though? I mean, if you really sit down and think about it, you're hard pressed to think of many black women who really trick their way into, like, Marla Maples comes instantly to mind. Talking about Donald Trump, Marla Maples tricked her way into strategic advantage. Right off the rip, I could think about her. Black China is no Marla Maples. Not even close. The broad that's on the screen right now, Juicy Cake, not even close. It's a joke. It's a joke. And that's the reason why I have the view that I have of so many black women. Because they are a joke. It ain't no sense of getting mad at me. I ain't your problem. I'm not the one that put you in the situation that you're in right now, ladies. Going after me is the low-hanging fruit. And you do it because you know that you don't have what it takes to go after the real sources of your problems, starting with the goddamn mirror. We both know that you're a coward. And we both know that you ain't shit.
No.
I'm just here to remind you of that. Hence why they call me the Grim Reaper. The Grim Reaper doesn't cause death. The Grim Reaper is just a witness to it. A lot of you black women are going to die alone. And you are because of your own choices in life. That has led you up to this point. What black man, I'll tell you something I said to Stefan last year. This is the first event back in May. After the whole thing was over, I saw him in the lobby. And I pulled to the side and I said, what you said in there was pretty powerful. I said, but here's the thing. All those black women asking you and Derek, we're the good black men. Dude, I'm hale and healthy, 50 years old, self-made, successful brother. Why would I want to take on their problems? He just looked at me. He just looked at me with that deer in the headlights look. He just looked at me. Didn't even say anything because he knew what I'm saying. The truth, like you said earlier, he knows what the deal is here. It reminds me of that scene from the iconic film The Untouchables. You remember when Elliot Ness and Malone are going to make their first liquor raid at the big bank downtown, and Elliot Ness says, "Wait a minute, we're going to do a raid here, Mr. Ness. Everybody knows where the booze is. The question is, who wants to cross Capone?" So you're right, Bernie. Steph knows what the deal is here. I'm willing to cross the black female hive mind. He's not. That's the difference.
That was definitely a good one. I felt like you just laid out one of your opening diatribes on your show. That was a good one. You definitely went in on that one. Don't know what else to say or what else to follow from that, but I do want to thank everybody who got those likes up. We went from like 149 to 229 really fast. Like to thank everybody.
Now all we need now is just those same brothers to do put something on the Cash App and the Super Chat and this and that. You know what it is, man. Make that phone ring, goddammit. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Because you're not going to get this anywhere else. Let me just be honest here. You're not going to get this type of honest, straight shooter talk. And it's time that black women hear this. This ain't about what guys do anymore. We're past that. We're past, the tricking. We're past the dinner horn. We already proven it's a thing. It's real. Now what? What do we do now? Now you die. That's what happens. Now you die alone. That's what happens. Because brothers like me are not going to come and bail you out, lady. We're not going to do that. You made your choice. Now you have to understand your choice. You have plenty of time to contemplate it in your final years.
What do you say to people who say that Well, you're saying that it's going to be some difference. They deal with brothers like you. I've heard the criticism that they're saying it's no different. You just trying to bend them over, or it ain't gonna. They're basically essentially saying they might as well deal with the guys they've been dealing with because there's no different result in dealing with a guy like you. That charge has been thrown out there. What's your response to that?
I don't have a response. It doesn't matter. See, the presumption is that I'm trying to convince them that I'm not like that. I don't give a shit what you think. See, the presumption is that a brother like me cares what these broads think. I don't. If that was true, I would be doing like Steph and Derek and all these other guys doing and catering to you ladies. I don't. What you think doesn't matter. What I think matters. See, this is the thing that y'all ladies still got fucked up. When it comes to relationships, what I think matters, not you. See, when it comes to fucking, what you think matters. When it comes to relationships, what I think matters. That's very hard for a lot of black women to accept. And I know it. And I exploit it. Because I know it pisses them off. Everything I do is intentional. So if you're feeling pissed off right now, ladies, good. That means I've done my job. I'm doing my job correctly. What I think matters more than what you think. So to respond to your question, what do you think about that line of argument, Obsidian? My response is I don't.
Mr. Shane Vicious, thank you for that super chat. Putting something in the tip jar. He said, "Are you talking about Symphon Courvoisier?" Courvoisier again? Yes, we were. I don't know.
He said that. I didn't. He said that.
Symphon Courvoisier. Oh man, and who else? My man Nuruddin came through. He said, "It's time to speak the truth. The truth. The truth." Thank you very much for those super chats. I appreciate it. But yeah, no, this is good conversation. Good conversation to be had. When you talk about that, and again, and I've said this to you before. When you go from the talking about the bad mating choices and everything that a lot of black women make, a lot of things that they do that at a obviously statistical.
Hang on a second, Bernie, because Alan Roddy Curry says, Obsidian, you just contradicted yourself, but I will let it go for now. Okay. Doesn't matter if I contradict myself or not. This is about what black women do. This is about their actions. This is about where we are right now in this time of a global pandemic. Life and death decisions are being made now. Doesn't matter if Obsidian is talking about two sides of his marriage. Doesn't matter. This is about what black women done. This is what they hath wrought, and this is where we go from here. Now you die alone, often penniless. That's what it means. April Mason's already going on record with it. Atara Dallas is already going on record with it. And many of you ladies know it deep down that it's going to be your fate too.
Let's talk about that. You mentioned April Mason, and I remember you did something very similar to what David Carroll does, how you send something down the rabbit hole. So how he sends everything down the rabbit hole. You got to email him. You probably can catch it on FS Avenger down the road, but when he makes his real uncut, hard-hitting stuff that he don't want to put on YouTube, you kind of got to email him for it, or you might be able to catch it on FS Avenger later.
I mean, it's no big whoop. I mean, what I said was in a nutshell is I just reiterated to April what I'm saying right now. She had an opportunity, as all black women do. Well, when I say all, I'm meaning the vast majority of black women. The vast majority of black women have the opportunity to get a man willing to pay their bills, a man that's going to treat them right. They just didn't want that, and that's their right. I'm not here to force black women to do what they don't want to do. I'm simply saying that, listen, we've tried all this other stuff. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I think it's time that we had a much more richer, fuller, more comprehensive, honest conversation about where we go from here. You're not going to convince the sexy guys that you lust after to do right by you. It'll never happen. It's not going to happen. Period. And increasingly, the guys that you would under normal circumstances kind of tolerate, they don't want you either. So we go back to the question. Do you have a hospice care plan? What is your plan for end of life? How are you going to protect yourself? How are you going to deal with your own security? What's the plan for your housing as you age? What is the plan for the rest of your life, ladies? What is it? I need specifics because I don't want to pay the bill. Georgia Boy says, man, these chicks going to be okay. No, they're not. We got proof for that already. We just got finished talking about April Mason. This small YT portion of black men doesn't matter on the big picture. Wrong. Wrong. I know this is difficult for a lot of brothers because a lot of brothers have black women that are sisters, that are mothers, that are aunts. Let's be clear about this. Your mama, your aunt, your sister is screwed. Just so you didn't know it before, now you know. They're screwed.
What DA Boy is saying, he's saying this small portion of brothers on YouTube not going to move the needle. We can already see the stats and how things are actually looking on the ground. This small portion of brothers on YouTube are just talking about it and articulating it in a just a hard hitting way, and not sidestepping it by saying, oh, it's this, oh, it's that, and coming up with all kinds of reasons. And we just played a male dating coach today who quite often, even though he does a better job than most, but he quite often sidesteps the problem. The only thing that's happening here is it's being talked about in a non-sidestepping kind of way. But we can look at the data, we can look at the stats and see where the problem lies. The problem is happening out on the ground. It's not just men on YouTube encouraging other men to do this, and that's going to affect Black America as a whole. It might, but the problem is already in existence. It's already a problem going on.
Yeah, and this is some interesting statements back to back. Georgia Boy says, all the single black women I know are working. I know more black men furloughed and not working. Kevin Samuels right behind him. I've had dozens of black women, young and old, call into my show fearful of the future alone. I just put that out there and let y'all do whatever y'all want to do with that. Two statements, two black men, completely different.
Anwar Dunbar says, keep going hard in the paint, fellas. No one else will say this. Thank you very much for that super chat. I appreciate you. Yeah, I never like the arguments of, all the black people I know. I hate when people do that. I hate when people do that. That does not make a point. It does not tear down the point of the person you're arguing with, and it does not make whatever point that you're trying to make. Only thing that could potentially say, GA Boy, is that you have a decent circle, which is great, which is absolutely great, And like you said, I think you said before that you're an educated brother. Most of the time when you hop on the panel, you're stepping out your office, you're stepping out the office to to come, you get a little break from work and you come in. So I mean, you're a working man. You're a working man. You got a degree. I don't know exactly what you do, but I'm just going to assume you're doing well. And you're married and you're around people that are doing well. So I'm just going to assume that, yes, you have a great circle. And we can also assume that Kevin Samuels has an impeccable circle. So it's one thing to look at Kevin Samuels would lose credibility if he went on his show and just said, this is my circle, therefore there's no problems in Black America. Because all the brothers that I'd rub shoulders with got it going on. So I don't need to speak to men about what they need to do to improve themselves or do better or become more industrious or more business minded and all of that. If he says all the women that I know that I rub shoulders with, they got it going on, they got it together. Therefore, it's no reason for him to give all the coaching and advice that he gives to women on how they need to up their game if they want to compete for those top high value men. I mean, it's just silly when somebody makes the core of their argument be based off everybody in rock throwing distance of me lives in a nice house. Like, you're not saying anything. That always frustrates me when people do that.
I agree. So I just wanted to put these 3 videos together here just to prove that what I've been saying, especially in the past year, still on target. I think from the ladies, we can put this whole thing to bed. And today's discussion is about the sisters who are the single biggest consumers of the black love business, the black love machine, I like to call it, 35 and above. If you're in you're chippy in your 20s or whatever, this ain't about you. You got nothing to worry about. I'm saying to the ladies 35 and above, it's time that we had a different conversation. It ain't about what the guys are doing, what they ain't doing. Because let's be honest, this is all fig leaf. This is the reason why I do what I do. You want to know the reason why I wear the things that I wear? Bernard, I do it to mock black women. Because I already know what the deal is. It ain't about that. I know that. So I do it to mock them. Because they ain't got enough heart to just simply say that they're attracted to men who ain't shit. They look great, may be able to screw, the lights out, but they ain't shit. And they ain't woman enough to say it and own it. And that's the reason why I have so much contempt for so many of these broads. I have a lot more respect for them. They say, you know what, man? There's a lot of really good brothers out there. I'm just attracted to the guys who ain't shit. There, I said it. They would have nothing but my respect. But they ain't woman enough to say it. And they want to keep scapegoating other brothers that they wouldn't piss on to put out if they was on fire. Well, if you do this, you do that. I need you to do this. I need you to do that. Bitch, please. So I do it to mock them. I wear ascots to mock them. I wear tailored suits to mock them. I have custom-made walking sticks to mock them. $100 hats to mock them.
D-Rock Den says it's just another sneak diss way to try to shut black men up about women. That's all. Yeah, I think he was probably was responding to what GA Boy was talking about. But yeah, we went round and round on this one. We covered all 3 of the videos that you wanted to cover today. I don't know how much more you want to add to it. I hate to end the show, but I planned on only being on 2 hours today, and we at that 2 hour mark, and I still got another.
Yeah. We can open up the floor if you want. I mean, all I ask, because this sort of thing, with black folks, especially on Sunday, you know how this is. You open the floor up, and black folks want to talk about all kind of crazy shit. We really want to keep this discussion, fellas, focused on the topic, which is black women over 35. And where we go from here with this black love piece. Now, before we go any further, there's a number of brothers in the chat room saying, well, define what you mean by ain't shit. It's easy. Come on, fellas, you know what this is. The brothers that are going to do what they said they were going to do. The brothers that are willing to pay bills. The brothers that are consistent. Come on, man, you know what this is. Stop. Black women are attracted to guys who are not husband material and expect Stefan or Derek and all these guys to turn them into husband material. It's not going to happen, especially at your age. It's not. You've chosen a lifetime of ain't shit black men. They're not going to do it then. They're not going to do it now. What is the plan for the rest of your life, ladies? Because there will be no cavalry. There will be no bailout. You couldn't give the pussy away for me. You couldn't give it away to me. and millions of brothers like me. What is the plan? Think you want to vote for the Democratic Party, huh? That's the plan. We'll see how that works out this November. We'll see.
The link is in the chat. Anybody can come on up. I don't know how much longer we're going to be on the air because, like I said, I normally don't do Sundays, but decided to go on and do this one today. The turnout was great, so we'll see how this goes going forward with the panel opening up. But the doors of the church are open, to borrow that phrase. And dropping that one more again. Let me get rid of the screen share. And we got Ellen Roger Curry in the building. Also, Nuruddin came on up. So without further ado, we're going to pass the mic to ARC. What's going on, brother?
Well, thank you for letting me join in, even though I'm technically on hiatus from YouTube.
Oh, yeah,
no,
I heard that. I heard that.
Yeah, I do that at least the average of twice a year. And so on my own channel anyway, I'm not going to be on until June 1st. But
hold on real quick, ARC. I just want to formally say I don't believe you. Something is going to happen and you're going to go live.
And it's funny, but some people have a right to say, Alan, you know you're going to break, because the very last one I was supposed to do, which was last fall, I was supposed to do this one from, I think it was from early August to mid-September. I broke it like 2 days after I announced it.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had 4 other ones, and as many as 5 other ones that I did stick to. So I have more that I stuck to than ones I haven't. But there have been some I broke. But no, I'm not going to take too much time. This is going to go all the way back to the beginning of the conversation, because I heard it starts with a comment you made, actually, Bernard. You said, in my opinion, all the male dating coaches are pretty much all about just getting laid. No, I'm just going to very quickly say, I can't speak for other dating coaches, but that's not true with me. And I say that in my book, my original Mo 1 book. I say getting laid is not the #1 objective of Mo 1. If anything, if there's at least one thing that's more important to me for my clients than helping them get laid, and it relates to some parts of this conversation about dinner whores and whatnot, is my biggest objective is helping men not waste time with the women who don't want to give them some pussy. That, between the two, that's more important to me than helping a man get laid. Is helping a man avoid investing time and money with women who don't have any genuine desire to give him any pussy, which is the main reason why I wrote The Possibility of Sex, which, on a quick side note, since Obsidian here, I have to point out, he actually offered, he loved that book so much, he offered to do a book signing for that book way back when. But yeah, that's always been my #1 objective. Because the reality is, you can get laid being indirect. That's one of the reasons why I put so much emphasis on direct game as opposed to indirect game. Because when I was indirect, I got laid. But the problem with indirect is you open the door for manipulative time wasters and what other people might call dinner whores or free meal whores. And I thank you for highlighting that comment I wrote in the chat room. See, I hear a lot of guys on YouTube talking about, oh man, fuck that direct shit. I'm gonna do indirect pump and dump game. I'm gonna do indirect pump and dump game. How you gonna criticize you if you're doing indirect pump and dump game? You have no right, no legitimacy to ever criticize a woman for being a dinner whore or a free meal whore or manipulative time with ever. You need to shut the fuck up, because you're talking out of both sides of your fucking mouth when you do that. If you're about indirect game, you don't even have the right to criticize a woman for manipulating your ass and taking advantage of your non-sexual time and your free meals and all that shit. You talking about, you got some dating coach talking about 3-date rule, hint, hint, wink, wink. How the fuck you gonna say criticize women for being dinner whores and manipulative time wasters when you talking about taking them out on 3 dates? You're laying it out for them to take advantage of your non-sexual time, attention, and companionship, and whatever else you got to offer.
Yeah, you know what? That I did see that.
Basically, you're saying you're giving away the keys to the castle.
Hold
Sorry.
on, Nardine.
That's one way of putting it. Yeah.
But that is one flaw I noticed when I was first listening to I'll say you ain't say his name this time. I'll say it. AMS, Alpha Male Strategy. That is one flaw that I noticed when he was talking about the 3-date rule, but then he was just saying, you know, it's all about sex and getting the ass and getting what you want and getting in and getting out and all of that. So I noticed that flaw with him, because if you're deliberately giving the misleading, you know, if you're misleading them to think that you want a relationship, it's going to take them longer to give you sex anyway.
There you go.
While they're taking longer to give you sex, you're just increasing the chance that you're going to pay more money, and then they're going to end up dipping out on you before you get to sex.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with all this.
I did notice that was counterproductive. That ain't necessarily. Hold on, real quick, Obsidian, because I think I know where you about to go. Because I mean, this isn't exactly the topic of the show, but that is something that we touched on. Early on the show.
See what I notice in Black American circles. I want to push past this. Ladies 35 and over, we're past all of this. What's the plan for the rest of your life? Because I'm not going to bail you out. I'm not going to help you. What's the plan? The guys you love to suck and fuck won't even answer you.
Cynthia G, anyone?
What is the plan? All this other stuff about direct, indirect, pump and dump, dinner whore, we're past that.
No, we're not. No, we're not. I disagree with you. We're not past it. At least not in my world. Maybe in your world, Obsidian.
And that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Black America. You're not in Black America.
I do include Black America.
Your thing is that you had a broad-based approach, and I respect it.
No, I do. I'm talking about Black America.
I'm talking about Black America, Black women 35 and above.
Well, my thing is this: what I already said. How can you even, like you brought up in this discussion, the concept of dinner whores? I'm saying, how can you even talk about dinner whores if you're in favor of indirect pump and dump game?
I never said anything about it.
Ridiculously
I never said anything about that.
Well, maybe you didn't, but a lot of people do.
Yeah, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about what we're talking about here. We have to stay focused. Black women 35 and over, the Black love machine hasn't worked. It doesn't work. What's the plan? You're not going to get a bailout.
They don't have one.
What's the plan? What's the plan for end of life? What's the plan for protection and security? What's the plan for housing? What's the plan for health care as you age in your later years alone? What's the plan?
Now, come on.
They don't have one, Obsidian.
With all due respect, I understand the spirit in what you're saying, but let's be real. For some of these women, not all of them, but for some of these women, particularly the more attractive women that are, say, 36 years in age or over, they're going to always have some naive guy, what most people would call a simp, that is going to be willing to bail them out.
And we're not talking about them because they're in the minority in Black America. So we're talking about the majority of Black America. In Black America,
Alan, that's running out.
We're talking about the majority of Black women. What's the plan? April Mason is a very attractive woman for her age.
Who's April Mason? I don't know.
Exactly. But everybody else that's sitting here knows what I'm talking about with April Mason. She's a very attractive woman for her age. She said herself on her Instagram, she's afraid of dying alone. She said it. Atara Dallas, self-described dime, said the exact same thing only months later. I mean, my position is very simple. We have to move past all this going round and round and round and round and round and round. No, we're past this. We're past all that, ladies. Steve Harvey didn't work. Hill Harper didn't work. Tony Gaskins didn't work. Trent Shelton didn't work. Derek Jackson didn't work. Stephane Labossiere didn't work. We're past all of this.
But all them dudes are still making money, though.
They are for a different reason.
But
I know the reason. I know the reason. I know the reason why. I'm saying, and by the way, I'm directly opposed that reason. I'm here to bring the ice bucket of reality, ladies. See, I get it. That's the fantasy. But you're too old for this. Fantasies are for kids. That's why we have Santa Claus and, the Tooth Fairy and superheroes. At what point do you grow up? At what point do you grow up?
For some number.
See, a lot of black women loved, and I wish St. Kevin was here. See, a lot of black women love to, and we're all, you, me, St. Kevin, we're older gentlemen. They love to say, you need to not rob the cradle, dirty old man. You need to date within your age. Okay. But see, here's the problem. I'm dealing with a sister that's 40-something years old, but she still think it's 1998 Love Jones. See, that's the problem. See, nobody wants to talk about that.
Good luck with that.
Nobody wants to talk about that. At what point do you grow up? I mean, no, it's time for
I think that they don't want to
grow up.
But here's the thing, though, Obsidian. I'm gonna give you some pushback here in relation to this conversation. So this is not a digression away from your conversation. Bernard asked you a really valid question that you chose not to respond to. Your basic response was, "I don't care what they think." But here's the pushback I have. You're saying women need to think differently, they need to act differently, et cetera, et cetera. But on the other hand, as far as what I know about you, you don't encourage men to get married. You don't encourage men to find a woman to raise a family with. So a lot of these women are going to be like, well, shit, you telling me I need to change and improve, but yet a lot of you guys on YouTube are sending out the message, don't get married, just fuck these hoes and dump them. Why would I want to change and improve for that? Well, you encouraging guys to put a ring on my finger? Well, so what's my motivation to change and improve?
Well, two things. Number one, I never said anything about guys shouldn't get married. I never made that argument. Never.
Okay, if you didn't.
And number two, I'm not here to help black women. And somebody said that in the chat room early before you arrived. Obsidian, is this to shame black women or to help them change? It's neither. I'm telling black women about themselves, where they are at this point.
Well, what's the point of telling them about themselves if you're not to help them to change and improve?
Because I can.
Well, then it's falling on deaf ears.
No, it's not.
It is.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It's falling on deaf ears.
No, it's
you
not.
Might think it's not, but it is.
No, it's not. It is making a difference.
You it is.
No, I'm telling you it's not.
If you ain't got no,
I'm looking at my analytics.
Reward at the
I'm looking at my analytics, and it is.
Your words don't matter.
I'm looking at the analytics.
At the end of the tunnel form, your words don't matter.
I'm looking at the analytics.
Okay.
And it is.
Yeah, okay. You keep believing that.
I look at the analytics that I paid for.
You keep believing that, bro.
And it is.
You keep believing
it. It is making a difference.
It is making.
I don't care whether they like it or not. That's not the point.
Okay.
That's not the point. It's not designed to make them change anything.
But I'm just telling you, I know how women think. And they're going to be like, if they don't want reward at the end of the tunnel, why should we even be living? Other than you being entertaining, which you are, I've always given you that. You're an entertaining brother. But I'm telling you, beyond you being entertaining and controversial and provocative in your words and commentary, if you're not offering some type of reward at the end of the tunnel for women,
I am offering them a reward.
Your credibility is going to
I am offering them a reward of sorts. I'm giving them the gift of mercy.
For them.
I'm giving them the gift of mercy.
The what? Nigga.
Game of Thrones. Look it up.
Hey, I'm a fan of Game of Thrones. I did a video. I got a video on my channel now.
You would know what I was talking about.
Anyway, the other thing, and then I'm gonna jump off, and this is strictly minor, most lighthearted, but either you, Bernard, or Obsidian, or one of y'all two lightheartedly implied that, well, Alan, when he speaks on some of the stuff, like dinner whores and stuff, he doesn't get as much pushback because he's a quote unquote select guy or whatever.
I didn't say because you're a select. Obsidian may have said it. I didn't say because you're a select guy. I just know that you've talked about that kind of thing, and it could just be a factor of you not hopping on panels to deliberately fuck with women, because Obsidian definitely does that. He'll hop on.
Of all my 4 major books, that is the number one book I get the most criticism from women on. Matter of fact, the most extreme, even though she said it in a kind of lighthearted way, but I don't take death threats lighthearted at all.
Right.
But within months after I came out with the possibility of sex, I had a woman who's actually a friend of mine. She's a current Facebook friend of mine. She said, Alan, why did you write this book? I said, what do you mean, why did I write it? She said, I'm paraphrasing some words, but essentially she said, you've given away our whole playbook for the manipulative games we play with men. I said, exactly, that's the point. She said, so you just want to walk out your house and have a group of women with guns shoot you in the head. And I said, that shit ain't funny. And she was like, oh, well, I was kind of just playing. I said, no, I didn't find that funny. I said, you saying my book's so deep that women would have killed me because of it. She said, yeah. She said, you fucking with women's money.
Damn.
Yeah, this woman actually told me that. She said, your book is fucking. She was basically like, you fucking with women's ability to take advantage of men financially. And a lot of women are not going to like that. And she hinted that to the extreme that some of them might want to cause you physical harm. So all that to say, I have gotten pushback from women on that book. Now a lot of women love Mo One. They love Who Said Again. But I don't really get that many compliments from women on the possibility of sex and to a lesser extent, the beta male revolution. If you go in my comment section on audible.com, you'll see my most worst critiques of those two books are from women. Women, like, you can go on Amazon right now, Possibility of Sex. There's a woman, I think she's from Alabama. She called the Possibility of Sex drivel. She said this was a waste of my time. It was nothing but drivel. And all women need to avoid reading this bullshit. So, I don't get no love for them two books.
Yeah, I'm not shocked by that one at all. I mean, I could definitely see that. I think I was more so referring to the simple fact that when Obsidian was going live on YouTube talking about this, he brought him out, and then he was going on panels talking about it, and oh man, they had the pitchforks broke out. So maybe you haven't been so much like that to where you haven't been visibly, on panels with women talking about that, or you don't go live and open up a panel for them to come in and argue with you about it.
I don't do public live streams. So
yeah, exactly.
And also there's another dimension here, and that's the specific story from last year that I got out in front of. And again, we have two brothers coming this month, only days from each other, confirming what I said a year ago. So Black women giving me all the grief. You can send your smoke now to Stefan Labassiere and Dr. Boyce Watkins, and you can give them that same smoke for saying the exact same thing I was saying a year ago.
There we go.
So I mean that was my point, is that they only chimed in with what I said a year ago, citing the exact same study. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, you got Alan here, possibility. So everybody agrees in Black America, dinner whoring is a thing. Okay, great. Mm-hmm. Now, what do the ladies 35 and over, what's the plan for the rest of your life? Because you're not going to get a guy willing to pay your bills. It's not going to happen. For the vast majority of, notable exceptions notwithstanding, Alan, for the vast majority of you, it's not going to happen. Now what?
And with that, we can go to Kevin Samuels. ARC, you come back if you got time. But yeah, we're going to Kevin Samuels right now. What's going on, Kevin?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, St. Kevin, what's going on, man?
Hey, I just was catching the end of it, and you're talking about. So you asked something about kind of keeping it around women who are over 35.
That's right. That's correct.
All right. Well, I'll just use. I mean, you can just look at what they've been calling into the show talking about. First off, to say that this little corner of YouTube is inconsequential. That's just not even close to being accurate. What it is it's the tip of the spear. YouTube as a platform has been documented to be about 3 or 5 years ahead of the rest of the world. But you can look at even what's going on in the political arena with with ADOS and FBA or whatever, how Joe Biden had to release a plan for Black America. That wasn't done by the mainstream media. That came from Black Authority, Tariq Nasheed, and this little insignificant sector of quote unquote YouTube. Now, as far as these women, I'll just say that in my life, I've heard these women say that they fear for their opportunities, and you can hear them in their own words. I had a woman in Dallas, 42 years old, on a show I had a couple of days ago, wondering why she can't find a quote unquote, a guy or whatever. And the net of it is this, that you're right. The conversation has to evolve because we've seen all this. These ladies know that they've had opportunities for the women who this applies to. And even if the women I deal with personally, this doesn't affect, there are 2+ million more Black women than Black men. The numbers are just stark. And, I'll also say this. Have a heated conversation with an average Black woman over 35. Talk about anything. You want to insult her? You want to see her really get completely mad? The next Star Trek movie coming out, I don't care what it is, and she has an opinion on it, say, okay, that's cool. What does your husband think about it? And watch her lose her shit. Now, we got to ask ourselves, why is that an insult? If you're over 35, educated, attractive, all the things you say, all the things you are, non-Black women with those same stats, the majority would have been assumed to have been married, or divorced, maybe even remarried. But Black women understand, especially this group of women, the higher educated women. I did a show on this. Is the amount of the women with the correlation between the higher degree and opportunities for finding, even decent dudes. So they know, the Black women know their problems. They know they exist. And the question is, what's the solution? Obsidian, you talk about die alone. Hell, I told that to that one woman. What is going to be your solution? What's going to happen? Either you address your issues or you die alone. And that die alone is too stark. They don't want to hear it, but it's the reality. And I say again, and I'll turn it over. If every Black man in this country coupled up with one Black woman, there'd still be 2 million+ Black women who wouldn't have one. Those women are going to die alone. That's just reality. And if they're not going to die alone, who's going to take them?
Mr. Shane Vicious says this is why prostitution needs to be legal. It's all for sale anyway. Legal prostitution puts all women on the market, forces them to make a deal. Thank you for that super chat. And Black Wolf Inc., as I said in the chat, you can time people out. You can delete comments. Don't be hiding people.
He be going ham, boy.
Yeah. I mean, he supports the show financially. I gave him a wrench, but dude, come on, man.
Yeah. See, this is the reason why, discussions, ancillary discussions about tricking and dinner whores and stuff like that, in a sense, kind of, elide the main point here. Black women themselves have testified to the fact that they have bigger needs than just having a dinner paid for. Talking about the issues of life.
Well, the 42-year-old woman that I was going back and forth with, where I even told her, having lived in Dallas for so long, I basically ran down her whole life. She already admits that she had one guy that wanted to marry her.
Yep, I heard the whole thing.
She didn't want to marry him because she'd have had to move. Okay, and asked her. She'd had basically, for the women we're talking about, you had your shots, and you blew them all, and now you're old. You're old and you have no options, and now you're angry, and people are starting to ask you, what's the plan? Now you want to listen, but the guys that would have you've been able to talk to are done. The guy that she could have married, for those who don't know, he's now married. Go back and listen to the shows. Go look in the comment section. I'll say this also.
Yeah, didn't she even attempted to suggest that this individual tried to, hit her up on Facebook.
Right. He's trying to holler at me.
Cheat on, yeah, right. To cheat on his wife with her. And the way you handled it was perfect because you said, well, okay, let's assume that's true. You're a Christian woman. Why are you talking to a man that's clearly a married man? And she was caught flat-footed.
Have you spoken to his wife? And see, what I've noticed, and hell, I didn't go looking for this, but it found me. No different than incels and virgins. I work with image. I end up touching these industries. I work with digital footprints with Match.com. I've had work with matchmakers. But what I've noticed is more of these women are starting to come over to these spaces and trying to figure out what they need to do, but they're not coming into it. Well, the women, especially over 35, aren't coming into it with good faith. They're looking for another cheat, a Band-Aid. They're not trying to hear that, you know what, the reason you're not winning is not because you're not giving sex, it's because you have a bad attitude or you're not cooperative, and a whole host of other things that are completely within your control. But the net of it is, especially for the women you're talking about, they just choose not to have to do it. They just don't want to do it. So it's like, okay, if you choose not to do that, then you'll remain by yourself. And that, by definition, that means dying alone. And see, that's never really been said. When I said that to that woman, you could have, she was caught. She was like, oh. But I'm like, well, that's what you're asking for. Because men aren't just going to accept what you say they need to do. These guys have a choice. And the ugly part of it, really, I think, is because I had an aunt who fit this category, and she died alone. She didn't have a man since 1986. I have another one who's going to die alone. I know women like this. And here's the thing: we all know them. Go out. Before COVID I'd be going out from Oklahoma to Atlanta. Groups of women, Big Mama, Kim, and her kids, 10 women of 3 generations, no men. How long do we think we can just keep how long do they're going to not address it until the bloody end, and COVID has actually focused them because it stopped the world. And when you don't have this quote unquote career, which is a job, to go fill your social calendar, when you're not getting your interactions, which really would be a family and a husband, you're sitting in the house. So a lot of women are finally realizing that, I got holes here. And men are doing it to the same thing. But unlike the women, guys can still do something about it. A man can be 50 and turn around and go still marry and have a family. These women can't. That woman got upset because I said her eggs were old. They're fucking 42-year-old eggs. But she was like, that's rude. And I'm like,
it may indeed be rude, but it's still true.
But the funny part to me though is go look at the women in the comment section, the younger women, and they were like, Jesus Christ. Now I had older women. Some were, you were too harsh on her and this and that. Go look in the comment section. I got a Obsidian.
And that's the reason why, Kevin, if I may, I do things the way I do. And Alan asked me earlier, why are you doing it? Because I can. Because I can. I say it the way I want to say it, and I do it because I can. I'm not here to, make black women feel better about themselves, be uplifting. No, I'm here to tell you the straight up, unvarnished, ugly truth.
Let me tell you one that caught me, particularly by surprise. What happens if we don't have this conversation? Okay, let's just say we don't have it because whatever. You know what happens? You get something that's in my comment section right now. You get a woman that says, I am 70. I am so glad you had this conversation. I'm a retired 70-year-old woman looking to get married, but I'm working on myself right now for the next 2 years.
Yep.
70. My response was, seriously? And then I added context. I was like, no, seriously. Are you already seeing this person? Does he know you want to be in a marriage? because 70 is a bit late in life to start trying to look for this guy. She's like, no, I don't know him right now. And yes, I do want to be married. And I'm looking for a high earning black male, a high earning provider protector male, 60 to 80 years old.
You have got to be fucking kidding me.
It's still in my fucking comment section. And I'm like, you're 70. And she says, I'm working on myself for the next couple of years. Then I'll go out into the market and then I'll just pick him off the provider male tree. And then he'll sit me down. I'm like, there's so many things wrong with this. I'm like, why? 70. She feels like she got 2 years to work on herself. And then
but you know, this is what the black love machine does.
Yes.
It sells a fantasy. And so, you know, okay. So let's turn this around for a minute. If a man, if a black man said words to this effect about getting Bernice Burgos, he's 70, we will all clown the shit out of him. You couldn't make a business out of that.
Bro, I was like, I was laughing because because she went back and answered 4 different comments. And I'm like, the fact that the average black man lives to be 67 already interrupts this whole thing. The fact that you think at 70 years old, you still got to do some work on yourself for 2 years is crazy. And then the fact that
it's way too late.
And then the fact that you think I should just go find somebody to pay your bills when you're 75.
Yeah.
See, the point is, if you don't force the conversation, they'll never have it. They'll just keep waiting until, you know, this lady. You can't make this shit up. And I didn't go looking for this shit. So
yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, so yeah, for me, I'm of no illusions about what it is that I'm doing. I'm doing it because I can do it. I mean, it had to happen. This sort of thing would never happen within the black love machine itself for the obvious reason. There's too much money in it. And no guy's going to, you know, essentially commit suicide is what it amounts to. No guy's going to do that.
Well, what got me, honestly, I'll tell you what really got me, is when you recounted the story about going to the Derek Jackson event.
Right.
And how many hundreds of women were there. No problem. But when you said that there was a woman in there on a walker.
That's right.
Part of me was like, nah. But then I had to take a step back and I was like, well, no. I know women who are in that position now. Fast forward, that woman in the walker is in my comment section.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the reality. So I don't understand when brothers want to sit back and argue like this is like it's like we can't see this, like this is inconsequential, like this really doesn't happen. And I understand it's a difficult conversation because like you said, it's our mothers, it's our aunties, it's our sisters. I had a woman in my channel who has three daughters and a son. You know, $3 and a son, all going to college, you know the freaking Cosbys, okay? And her son, the youngest, don't want to date black women. And she's pro-black. And I asked, and she read, her name is Ebony, go look at my comment section. And she was like, my son says they're just too mean, they're too this, too that. And when she had to go back and say it, she was like, I see. The net of it, I was like, well, you know what you're telling your son to do. What are you telling your daughters to do? Her oldest daughter with a Hispanic man. And the other two, she's just not holding out any hope. And if we want to have anything happen in Black America, relationships, marriage, that whole thing has to start being a priority conversation for the people who say they want certain things. And then understanding what comes along with that. Hence, a lot of the stuff I've been talking about on my channel lately. I'm like, you ladies say you want to be, you know, a stay-at-home wife. And then when I laid that out, I'm like, you know how much money it takes to do this shit? So anyway, I don't want to hog it up, but I think it's a good conversation to have. And you can't keep putting this stuff off, especially for our generation, because we are dead in the thick of it. And if nothing else, this last couple of 3 weeks, this COVID thing has really highlighted the fact that Black women in this category are really deluded. Because it was like every time I had a conversation with somebody, it was like the same conversation over and over. They're coming to it 20 years, 30 years too late.
Yeah, yeah.
I agree. I agree, and that's the reason why, for me, I want to push this along. Kind of, the only reason why I went revisited the dinner whore piece is just to say that, yeah, I was right all along. So, ladies, we can stop with the fuckery there. We can stop with the fuckery about your ghosting. We can stop with the fuckery about all this other nonsense. What's the plan for the rest of your life? Let's just get right to it. What's the plan? I'm not going to pay for you. I'm gonna fight tooth and nail at the ballot box to keep from having to pay for anything for you. We ain't fucking. You ain't related to me. We have no association whatsoever. What's the plan for the rest of your life? The guys that you want to step up front, they don't even think enough of you to return your calls.
Kevin, did the 70-year-old woman, did she respond to whatever kind of advice or whatever you said to her? Did she respond back to it?
Yes. Let me go ahead. She responded saying, "Yeah, I'm."
Oh, you borged a little bit. Actually, you borged a lot. We can't hear you at all now. Kevin, are you there? StreamYards have not given me any problems for a while. It looks like they finally starting to give some problems. All right, we lost.
Yeah, he's
Kevin.
still there, but I see him. But
no, he officially dropped now.
Okay.
So I have no idea what's going on with that.
It was his line. His line was compromised.
Yeah, something
y'all go ahead and go. I'll be right back. Y'all go on ahead and take it.
Yeah, so since you're up here, you could talk about that last super chat. I think I casually heard something about that. Did LeBron James' son really say that he's
me?
Yeah, I'm talking about your last super chat, Nuruddin. You
yes,
said
he
LeBron
did.
James' son is saying the same thing. He's dating women of other cultures. What was the exact quote? Did he say it on Twitter or on a video? Like, what happened? Nuruddin.
Give me a second. Let me restart my line and I'll come back to you.
Yeah, what's the problem? No, your audio, you sound good. Are you saying you need a minute to go figure something out?
There's a delay.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Even though you sound like you coming through right on cue, right on time, but okay, go ahead and do what you got to do. Oh man, StreamYard.
Give me a second. I'm coming back.
Yep. Go ahead. Take your time. Yeah, StreamYards have been going very well for me. It used to be problems, but StreamYards has been good, and so hopefully it can keep working the way that it has been working. Yeah, but it's been an interesting show, interesting topic, talking about the Black love business. It bounced around a little bit, but we got a few things covered. I think Nuruddin is back and ready to go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. It's basically it's a delay that StreamYard is doing. I guess it's on either side.
Okay, well, I mean, it doesn't sound like we're that delayed. So go ahead and lay out what it was or what happened with LeBron James' son. Did he say it on Twitter or was it on video?
Actually, it was on Twitter. It was on Facebook, and LeBron James' son reminds me of Malik Smiley's son, Malik Smiley, and the boys in the high schools.
Well, what did LeBron James' son say?
He says that that I have an attraction for women of other cultures, and he just said that. He said because he's going to a school who's who have girls of other cultures. He says, I see that I'm attracted to them more.
Okay.
And the young races? And the sisters, yeah, women of different races.
Okay.
And guess what? The sisterhood jumped on him. And he said, yeah, I love y'all, but hey, I'm looking out for me. He's looking out for his happiness.
Well, I don't know if 15-year-olds are thinking about their happiness. They know what they attracted to. I don't know. I'll look up the video and see exactly what he said and what was the context of it.
But it also goes back to it.
It doesn't shock me.
It goes back to what I was saying. It goes back to what I was saying before. I said that if you got your bright teenagers walking away, that's a wrap.
Excalibur
They're walking
says
away from their
Bernard.
daughters.
Hold on, Nerdine. Excalibur says Bronny didn't say that. He released a video on TikTok with white chicks and Latinas.
Yeah.
It's saying he didn't say that though. I think they just
Oh,
saw
okay.
him with those girls and probably reacted.
But the thing about it is that it's happening. It's happening. The students in my that I
Yeah,
used to work in the high school with, that I used to I was a school employee, and they said the same thing. They're doing the same thing. Their fathers are now preparing them to get passports. They put me on to the frustrated Black American men in Brazil. They put me on to that. These kids are like 15, 16, 17 years old. I was like, well, how do you know about this? They the one that put me on the Charles Tyler.
All right, Kwame Triple X, thank you for the super chat. He says he's responding back to what Kevin Samuels said, and Kevin Samuels in the queue, so we're going to get Kevin Samuels back talking about that. He's Kwame Triple X says 70 only if she has Oprah money. That's
still,
and that's interesting.
So by the time she's 74,
that's
when she's going to settle down. That's crazy.
Let's go to Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels, are you there?
Yeah, I don't know what happened, man.
Yeah, StreamYards have been working excellent for me lately. This is my first time having a problem with it in a while because I came to like StreamYards. But we were talking about the 70-year-old woman who said she's looking for. She's trying to get herself together for the next 2 years, looking to find a provider
72.
male by the time within the next 2 years, and then you responded to her. What did you say to her, and what was her response back?
My response to her was I was kind of shocked, but I wanted more information. And her response was like, yeah, I know that I need to get myself together, but I don't believe her ultimate answer. I know it's a long shot, but I believe it's never too late. See, and that's a problem.
It's too late.
That is a problem. We, in my opinion, in my personal opinion, as an image consultant, I have to see a lot of times, Bernard, when people come to me as an image consultant, they want to come in and they think I'm going to, stroke their ego. And I can't do that. My job as an image consultant is like a plastic surgeon, an oncologist. I have to tell you what is and tell you what we can do, likely treatments, likely things, because it's all about the outcome. Bernard, no one comes and pays my fee just to remain the same. They want a miracle, and oftentimes I've turned people down because I can't make what they want happen. And that's why I stopped working with a lot of women. I had a woman that was 50 plus, 55 years old, 300 pounds almost.
Whoa!
Wanting to marry a man in a 6 foot, 6-figure man, and I'm like, first off, man, I'm an image consultant. I'm not a married matchmaker. I help you with your image and can try to help you a little bit with your SMV, but I can't make clothes fit you that don't fit, and the ultimate point is Black women, especially this group, have been shielded from the reality of their poor choices for so long to where they're later in life. When Shahrazad Ali was talking about what she was talking about, we were in our 20s, early 20s. Okay? Now we're in our 40s and 50s. You can't keep moving like you were moving in your 20s, in your 40s and 50s, but far too many of these women do. Did you watch that show with the 42-year-old woman, Bernard?
Yeah, I watched most of that conversation.
Okay, do you understand that when I kept turning to the audience and I was like, understand, folks, she truly doesn't understand what the problem is. I'm like, there's 1,300 of you in here who can see the issues. To her, I'm the issue.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel sad for a lot of Black women like this. But like I tell the men, like I tell everybody, it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility, because I asked her a group of Socratic questions. You have your master's, right? Right. Where'd you go get it? and she was trying to out checkmate me, but Prairie View. Did you get scholarship? Did you have to pay for it? I had to pay for it. Okay, so you had to come out of pocket to pay for a master's. What'd you get in? Education. Great, congratulations. All right. How much have you invested in psychological counseling or therapy? See, but by that time she was 4 steps down the road. She couldn't lie. She didn't know where I was going, and she says, "Well, I have looked at it." I was like, "No, ma'am. How much have you spent on actual therapy?" Well, I was like, "The answer is 0." So I was like, "So you needed additional education and certification to have certain kind of career, but you have issues and you've invested 0 in your mental mind state."
Mm-hmm.
Make that make sense? But yet you're the thinking ones, because this was a woman who called up asking. She didn't understand why her degree was working against her, and as the conversation went on and on and on, I was like, when you are in a group of women like her, sitting around and having the same conversations, reinforcing it. When you go to the movies and seeing Stella getting her groove back and Waiting to Exhale and Color Purple, you never see, movies that don't put women in a victim position. As we started to have the conversation, she wanted to say, "Well, yeah, we can have the conversation, but can we talk about the stats? Or we can't take that into consideration." I was like, "What? Can we talk about the stats?" I'm like, "What do you mean, all the men being in jail and all this other kind of stuff?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, but I'm going to also bring in some more stats." She wanted to talk about stats that made her position. She didn't want to talk about the American Enterprise Institute.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to we quote the stats that work for us or discount them because, statistical method. I hate that argument. I think it's one of the most disingenuous arguments because stats can be skewed and manipulated. Okay, cute, sure, but they're a roadmap. They're a roadmap to what we can see with our own lying eyes. And anecdotally, it doesn't matter if it's in my life. I see far too many Black people, especially Black women, older Black women, unmarried, unattached, no prospects.
Yeah. I found that part interesting. She kept trying to cut you off. You had to keep reminding her that she came to you for advice, but she kept wanting to talk over you. That part just was. Ugh.
Well, but again, if you go back and look at any movie in the 90s, our Black women had no respect for us. And I was a white collar brother. I'm in the top 10% of Black men, and you see this all the time. And here's where I hold them responsible. You were fed the same lies we were told to be softer, gentler, baby-faced dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that shit didn't work for us. And we had to suffer our outcomes with broken marriages and blue pill scars.
Woo-hoo.
Okay? Yeah. You're smart too. You can see that no one's ever proposed to you. It's never happened. So it can't, and only an extremely deluded person thinks that it's all the men, it's not them.
Let me ask you a question, St. Kevin. Stepped away to make some lunch. Let me ask you a question, because this comes up in these kind of conversations. Obsidian, you're trying to scare these women. These women ain't studying about you, man. They doing well. They got it going on. They living their best life. So let me ask you, Man About Town goes to a lot of upscale places. My experience has been when I go to the upscale places, I see very few Black women dining. There might be a couple, maybe. But in most instances, I don't see any. The lady on my arm is the only Black woman in the place actually dining. What is your experience when you go to the more upscale places? Do you see single Black women living their best life, hooping it up, dining it up, or is it more closer to mine?
No, well, what I see, if I do see Black women out and about, I've sent pictures and videos. The groups of them. What I don't see is I don't see Black couples. Let me take that back. I don't see Black women in couples. I see Black men. When I do see brothers, I'm starting to see more brothers with Hispanic women. I just don't. And I look at wedding ring fingers, and I've been doing this for over close to 30 years. And I started when I was out in corporate America. I would be in the food courts downtown, And I was amazed at how often I would see different groups of women who were from 4s to 9s on the physical attractiveness scale, but the majority of them had some sort of wedding ring. And I noticed that, the majority of black women who were even very attractive women, unmarried. So no, I don't see black women out living their best life. They're not living their best lives. Again, as an image consultant guy, I mean, why in the hell are they coming to? Anyway, I don't want to go down that path. A lot of these sisters are finally starting to realize that the Steve Harveys, the Oprahs, all this stuff is not helping them get the outcome they want. And I think I asked on one show, I asked a woman, on one of my marriage show, and she's like, "Yeah, I want to get married." I was like, "To a black man?" I was like, "Yeah." Well, tell me what you like about black men. And the first thing she said is, "I like them the fact that they're hardworking." Then the next 5 things she said all were directly related to her. And I said, "Well, what you basically described as a beast of burden." And a lot of these women don't realize that they don't even know who black men are.
I believe Miss Jada Pinkett Smith said words to that effect about her husband Will recently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that she doesn't know who he is. See, and it is completely unfathomable to think that you can have healthy, functioning semblance of a relationship when, 1, the females don't know the males, 2, the females don't like what they do know about the men. I mean, as a Generation X man, can you honestly say the average rank and file Generation X black woman approaches you with good faith and with civility and respect and femininity? Or do you get what I got with that 42-year-old woman on my show? Combativeness, always looking to one up you. And I'm like, it's sad. It's sad because it's public. And the public part that's a shame is we can look at the young black men, who are wilding out, not living up to the standard of manhood. Okay. But what about black women? We have so many black women who are unmarried, pushing, even the ones who are, whether they have children or not. Other groups see this and they're like, well, all right. In the longest time, it used to be blame it on black men. All right, well, if black men ain't marrying you, well, what about the white guys that are marrying you? No one's rushing to get with these women. And that's their reality that they're going to have to deal with.
Yeah. Eric Hayes, thank you for that super chat. And also Mr. Shane Bitches, thank you for coming back with another super chat. I appreciate that. And
I would like to say, if I could,
go ahead.
This idea that black women still got options. Options for what exactly? I mean, exactly what are these options? Because to let black women tell it, they don't feel that way.
Yeah, black women don't. Let the average black woman that I'm talking to, they don't feel like they have any options. So I think a lot of black men who say this think it's because they have the option to have sex. That's not what they want. I have yet to have a black woman. Well, I've had one in the last 3 weeks who did not admit that she not only does she not want to be getting married, she wants to be a stay-at-home wife and not work. What do they have those options? Because that's what they say they want, and we know better than
that. So, like I was saying, the conversation does have to move forward, and I am moving it forward. This is for the ladies pushing 40 and beyond. We've been there, done that. We've done all of this. None of it's worked. Because if it did, you wouldn't still be flocking to see these guys year on year. We need to move the conversation forward. We are where we are. I've accepted it. I'm the non-select guy. I've accepted where we are. What's the plan for the rest of your life?
Hey guys, I gotta run.
All right, Kevin.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin.
Well, that's my question. My question becomes, what's the plan for the rest of your life? I'm not going to pay for you. It's that simple. I'm not going to do it. So you need to have some kind of plan for the rest of your life, for the rest of your days.
All right. Yeah, definitely. It's okay. So we about to wrap this thing up. We just closed in on 3 hours exactly. Just dropped a link to Kevin Samuels' channel. In the unlikely event that you're not subscribed to Kevin Samuels, go subscribe to him. Check him out. He's been dropping the mic on a lot of stuff lately. So you definitely need to do yourself a favor, because you're doing yourself doing yourself a disservice if you're not already subscribed to Kevin Samuels and checking out the fire that he been dropping on here. Also, it was one more person. Yeah, SKC dropped a new video. I'm gonna drop the link to his video. So when we get off the air, hopefully I can go and check out Supreme King Coon and his new production he just put out there.
Yeah, and I want to thank you, Bernie, for having me on today. This is a really important conversation to be continued.
Oh yeah, no,
hopefully old man pushing the envelope.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying the old man pushing the envelope. It is time that we push the conversation forward. I mean, let's move this thing along.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not buying the idea that black women are gonna be just fine. The stats don't support it. So we can end that. The few Sierras out there notwithstanding, most black women ain't gonna get wiped up by a well-to-do brother. That's not gonna happen. What's the plan?
Yeah, this will be an ongoing series where we'll be touching on this, talking about these topics, highlighting certain videos, things that are going viral, that are being put out there that are related to the whole black love industry. So this Obsidian versus the black love industry. Hopefully, if it's up to me, it will be an ongoing thing. This is part 2. As far as I'm concerned, we can get up to part 99. As far as I'm concerned, we can do this thing weekly. As far as so I
love it. I love the idea. I think it's a great idea.
Yep, I'm all in with it. So yeah, as long as y'all like to see it, as long as y'all turning out for it, as long as y'all want to see it, we will be putting it out. We will be getting this done. But the last link I'm dropping in the chat is for my man Supreme King Coon. That's his recent production he just put out there. So if you're checking out of here, when we get off the air, go ahead and just transition right over and watch Supreme King Coon's last video if you didn't watch that already.
All right, Bernie, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it, and I thank you so much for doing this on such short notice and on a Sunday at that. Really had a great time. And so ladies, once again, the old man was right. And I know that bothers you. And tell you the truth, I'm glad that bothers you. There'll be more. I got a lot more.
Oh, I know you do. Yeah, you were a complete asshole today, just rubbing it in their face. You just this came out full asshole, but all right.
As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go over there to Sister George. They're probably talking about it right now.
All right.
All right, y'all.
All right, yeah, peace, fellas.